What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back to another one. What I'm going to do is we're going to go over all of the latest happenings today in the Lil Durk trial. And we're going to go from there. And yeah, so we're going to go from there, man. All the latest and greatest from the Durk situation. It's crazy. Let me see what we're going to do. So, what I like to say is with these federal cases, you're going to have to let this play out. The only thing is, we're not, um, we're not there, as far as to see what's going on in the trial. I hate that. I hate that the feds don't, you know, record in the courtroom. They don't. That's just how the feds are. But we're gonna go off some testimonies from people that was in the courtroom today, and I'm also gonna read something here, as you see, and then we're gonna go from there. All right, hold on. Let me get my chat up so I can see y'all. Let me go here. There's a lot going on in his case, man. And today, OTF Jam testified. Okay, now I can see you guys. OTF Jam testified, and it's not looking good. He pretty much said that he caught 3 murders for the crew. Okay, he's damn near a serial killer. I've been under the weather, Scoop. Been under the weather. But I'm back at it, You know how we go. So let's get into it. So here's the latest on the Durk federal murder for hire trial as of Wednesday evening, August 26th. Now, let me just say this. We are going to go over what some people that were in the courtroom had to say. We're going to listen to that as well. There's one person that's in the courtroom that the people outside are starting to press right now. His name is Trap Lord Ross. They starting to press him. One of Lil Durk's media people went after him and said to delete a tweet or something like that. We'll get into that. All right, so as of August 26, 2026, today was important because the case is moving from circumstantial / digital evidence towards a cooperating witnesses who could directly connect Durk to the alleged plot. It's crazy. So OTF Jam reportedly took the witness stand today. A breaking report says Casey OTF Jam Hester admitted his own involvement in the August 2022 attack and identified Durk Banks, DeAndre Wilson, and David Lindsay as participants, citing journalist Michael Blackshire's courtroom reporting. The same report says jurors saw a 2023 group message concerning Jam in which Durk allegedly discussing the possibility that Jam would cooperate. In a group chat. Guys, in a group chat. So it's a developing story. So Brian Steele has already created a major credibility issue with the government's cooperators, especially OTF Jam. During his cross-examination of LAPD Detective Warner Carius, Steele highlighted, check this out, guys, he highlighted that Jam was interviewed roughly 30 times, but only recorded 3 times. Okay? Only 3 interviews were recorded. So, Carius was, so what he's trying to say is, well, what else are they hiding? How come they didn't report it? How come they didn't record it? Carius was present for 5 interviews where Keith Flocka Jones only 1 recorded and 10 interviews involving Kavan OTF Vani Grant with none recorded. Carius acknowledged that recording interviews is preferable and agreed that cooperators faced in lengthy sentences could have an incentive to implicate others in hopes of receiving leniency. So this is giving Steele an obvious line of attack here. The defense can essentially ask the jury, how do we know Jam's story stayed consistent over a dozen conversations? when most of those conversations were recorded. That does not prove that Jam lied, but it gives a defense material to cross-examination and impeach. So here's what I'm thinking as the juror if I heard that. Yeah, how do I know if his story has remained consistent, or how do I know they didn't help him doctor a story? Because as far as I'm concerned right now, it looks like OTF Jam possibly, I'm just saying allegedly, possibly, well, allegedly was cooperating with the government even before he got out of jail. I want to say something real quick. I'm not a street guy or anything like that. But oftentimes the government will use people before they even get out of jail. You know what I'm saying? They will use them before they get out of jail. So you got to be cautious with people. This is what could possibly put Durk away here. You know what I'm saying? However, still, I seen him personal up and close at the Diddy trial. And I can tell you he's a really good attorney. And he's going to do all he can to create doubt here. Because remember, all it takes is, in this case, all it takes is one juror. Okay? All it takes is one juror to hang this jury. That's all it takes is one. You just got to convince one to say that there's enough doubt there for me to say not guilty. Just one. Now, what happens if this ends in a hung jury? Will they go after Durk again, of course? You said, and get back for the King Von murder. That's what the government is trying to say, yes. But I just want to note, we can't come to any determination right now if it don't look good, because the defense, number one, the defense didn't even start their cross-examination yet with OTF Jam. The government is still questioning him, okay? The defense has not, remember, OTF Jam is subject to cross-examination by the defense. And also, the defense hasn't put on their case yet. The government is putting on their case right now. So we got a lot of trial to go here. They said this could last all the way to the 14th of September. Got a lot of trial to go, guys. I wish I was there. I would love to go out there, but I heard it's like, I think they have overflow rooms now. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they do. Let's go back to this. So prosecution has been building a paper and digital trail. Detective carriers testified that GPS data for a white BMW driven by Kevon Grant, surveillance footage showing alleged participants in an in and out after the shooting, flight arrangements, and financial links involving Astronaut Sounds. I guess that's Durk label. Prosecutors also emphasized that Durk message saying not to book flights under the names connected to him. Still countered that investigators did not establish Durk personally authorized the relevant company records or personally made the purchases. Jurors heard for some potentially damaging messages concerning King Von's death. The FBI agent, Jerron Farmby, presented an exchange between Durk and his manager, Jason Smith. After King Von's killing, prosecutors showed messages in which Durk expressed that he was devastated and made statements prosecutors are portraying as evidence of a desired retaliation. The defense has been emphasizing context, including objecting when prosecutors shortened one of the messages in a way. Still argued it changed its meaning. The government also introduced the fact that Durk changed phone numbers frequently. Famby testified that 17 numbers has been associated with Durk during the relevant period. And carriers testified that Durk changed his number about 48 hours after Robinson's killing. Prosecutors want jurors to view this as of overall circumstances, changing the numbers by itself. However, this does not prove participation in the murder. Let's see, what do we got? Yeah, so like I said, the trial hasn't reached its most important stage yet. That's what I wanted to put in there. It's going to be a battle all the way to the end. I wish I was there. I wish I was there to see it, but obviously I'm not going to be there to see it. Um, I'm not going to be there to see this, but it's going to be, guys, it's going to be literally a fight to the end.
And Lil Durk.
Let's hear what he's saying here. Hold on.
Which, when I looked into it, it looked like Bonnie copped to a bunch of shootings and murders and shit, and said Lil Durk paid me and had me do it. And I think in response, Lil Durk's attorney said Lil Durk don't know nothing about the murders, the shootings, didn't tell Bonnie to do it, and didn't pay him to do it. So when Trap said Lil Durk blamed Bonnie for everything, it kind of put out there to the world like Lil Durk is pointing the finger at Bonnie, which all he did was respond to, that's a lie. I ain't tell a nigga to do nothing. I don't know nothing about nothing. And I don't think Trap did it.
Did you forget about Trap? Did you hear what Jamie the Bull did today? Did you hear him?
Oh, wait, Act 1 year ago.
Wack, you ain't know this was gonna happen. You ain't know this was gonna happen.
Said what? I said, listen, the nigga sent me word that he telling. I said it. All of Chicago told me I was hating on Chicago. I said, look, not only is Jam said he gonna tell, 2-3 more of them niggas gonna tell too. I said it. Everybody said Wack running his mouth. No, nigga, this is what it is. Jam already sent word a year ago. He taking a stand. I told the world that.
Wack.
He was supposed to interview with me from the joint,
Wack.
but it didn't happen.
First 15 minutes on the stand. You know what he said? What? Hey, I got 3 bodies. He described the bodies. He said, my first drill, I shot the nigga. I went with my OG. My OG looked at me and said, so you not going to finish him off? You know he going to be a witness if you don't. He said, I shot him in the head. Yo.
Well, listen, he already copped out and took a deal to tell everything he know. You get what I'm saying? And I hope the kids listen, when you hear these rappers talking about all this stuff they doing, listen, it's just amusement and entertainment. There ain't none of these niggas, you see what it is, Act. I've been denouncing these niggas for years. It's over with.
The shooters are telling now, Wack. The shooters are telling. You know, usually they used to say, you don't bring a nigga or keep a nigga around like academics because he's the one going to be able to tell. Like, you know, you knew he wasn't about it. Don't keep a nigga like 6ix9ine around. You knew he wasn't about that life. Of course, you're going to tell. Wack, this guy is a seasoned shooter. He says his role in the BDs, he says we have scammers, we have drug dealers, we have other roles. My role was a shooter. The shooters is telling, Wack. The shooters is telling.
Hey, bro, the streets is over with. It's over with. Been over with. Hey, listen, bro. Here go the scary part, Act. These is the niggas that we see telling. Imagine the motherfuckers out there we don't know that stuff.
Wack, he pointed at Durk today. You know what he said about Durk? I got to hit you with this because I know you said the streets is over, but could you imagine this? He said, I was locked up for 12 years. He said, when you get locked up, people forget about you. He said, Durk, he never forgot about me. He would call me, whether it was $50, $100, $1,000, he would put it in my books. He said he always changed his numbers. If he ever changed his numbers, he gave his new number to my mama. He made sure I was good. He always did right by me when I was locked up. Is that not heartbreaking that he could say that and then in the next breath say, but for this murder, I did kill a nigga, but Durk told me to do it. That don't sound crazy?
Hey, look, bro, the bottom line of this shit is, Act. Bro, you think this some shit, watch when Big U trials start. You're going to see 50, 60 gang members telling.
Nah, whack. This is different,
Bro,
man.
you seen TPD, it's all kind of niggas, even though we don't know them, but these is real street niggas. My man, like, yeah, my homie Durk Rock, he's solid official. They
Let me say this, man. Yeah, he's right, man. The streets has been dead. If you want to try to get away with something, you got to do it by yourself. You can't have a whole crew around and you got all the money and everybody eating off you. You can't do that. Everybody has to have something equal to lose. Okay? And also stay away from this killing in the street life. You know what I'm saying? Because this guy, he has children. Durk has children. He potentially going to be away from his children for the rest of his life. All for the streets. No, pick your children first. I would have been took a deal. I would have had to take a deal in this. I would have had to. I wouldn't be able to take this to trial. When you got people telling, you got a guy say that his primary job is he the shooter. You know what I'm saying? You said if Durk was so good to him, why flip on him? Apparently Durk was taking, yeah. But the thing is, he probably wasn't no millionaire. He wasn't, his life hadn't changed to the point where he felt like he had a lot to lose. And also, this is just my theory. I believe he was cooperating before he got out of jail. When he started hanging around Durk and them again, I believe he was already working for the feds already before he got out of jail. Let me tell you another theory that I have. These drill rappers, they were only here for a season. It was never meant for these drill rappers to have longevity in the game. It's never meant for them to live around the money. Because they got a certain mentality. You could give a person a lot of money, but you can't change their mentality. It was never meant for them to have longevity. That's why there's a lot of insurance policies taken out on their head. Because they're anticipating a lot of them either going to die off, kill each other, or they're going to get a lot of time in prison. Eventually, within the next 10 to 15 years, there will be no more drill music. In the next 20 years, there will be no more gang activity around the country. They're going to eradicate all gangs. They're going to eradicate all gangs from the streets. So let me tell you why. You're starting to hear about what you call smart cities, right? They're trying to revamp the cities. They already have plans for Los Angeles, the greater Los Angeles area, the Inland Empire. They have plans for all that area, right? So what they're going to do is they don't want to have the money and all this stuff living around gangs. They're gonna get rid of all of them. That's why if you notice a lot of them are being pushed. A lot of people are being pushed to Texas. Now, if you notice with Texas, they got these they're giving out draconian numbers now just for a little bit of weed because they know these people are addicted to weed. They're not going to stop smoking weed. That's their way of getting people locked up and getting them off the street and cleaning Texas up. This is all by design. You have to know how the system works because it repeats itself. I grew up in the Reagan administration where they took all those people off the street after they finished using them. Okay? Remember, when crack hit the streets, that was like a nuclear bomb being dropped in the hood, in the inner cities. And ground zero was South Central Los Angeles. And guess what they're calling it now? South of Los Angeles. No, I still call it South Central Los Angeles. I was there. And when I was there 2 years ago, South Central Los Angeles is not the same. You don't have people hanging out on the street like that at night. Guess why? Why you think? Either they moved, they died prematurely, or they locked up. They took a lot of people off the street nationwide. The same thing in Richmond, Virginia, where I lived at. They took a lot of people off the street, guys. This is by design. Some of you are what they call undesirables. They don't want you around. You're like vermin to them. They don't want you around. Because you don't, and quite frankly, some of them don't have the mentality to be around in the street. Why victimize your own people when you could come together for the greater good? They're never going to do that. Some of these people are demons that was created by the U.S. government. They're demons. And when did it start? It started back during Lyndon Johnson Great Society. That's when it started. When they had all these entitlement programs, and a lot of the single women, when they were on these entitlement programs, they were not encouraged to have husbands and stuff like that. If they did, they would lose their entitlement programs. That was by design. This thing has been going on since the late 60s. And I'm going to tell you why. They don't want any more Malcolm X's rising. They didn't want that. So they have a concerted effort to try to curb this thing. I'm just telling you, if you know history, you know it. Now you know. It's a timeline on what happened. It's all a timeline. And remember, they know, let me tell you this. They know that life is continuous. You born, you die. You born, you die. You born, you die. But they do things within 20 to 50 year increments. I would say 20 to 35 year increments. They know what society is going to look like 30 years from now if they do the planning now. So when they come back, society is not like how it is now. It's deep, man, but they know this. They don't want to portal back in and we have power. You get what I just said? They don't want to have to portal back in and we have the power. This has been an ongoing fight spiritually for centuries. We were once on top at one point in the world. We were. But we weren't in this particular shell we call a body. We was in another body. But we were once on top, but then we lost the war, and now we're right here. I wish a lot of people would know who they really are for this thing to stop. But one person is not going to help. I'm not going to help. I know who I am. I have knowledge of self. But there's too much division going on within the human tribe. You ever heard somebody? I'm going to give this to you. There's not a lot of people listening, so I'm going to give this to you. If anybody ever come up to you and say what tribe you belong to, because there's 7 tribes. Actually, there's more than 7 tribes. But what tribe do you belong to? And you might say, well, what do you mean? You're in the human tribe. You're not going to reincarnate as an animal. There's certain frequencies. There's certain frequencies of the Most High. We're on this particular frequency forever until we able to ascend back to the essence. And until then, it's just like a Grand Theft Auto game. You know how you die in Grand Theft Auto and you spawn right back? That's how life is. So the reason why I said this is because they plan things in 20 to 30 year increments. Because they know within 30 years that they do the necessary stuff now, life will be different within the 30 years. This stuff that as we see right now that's happened in the country, this was planned years ago. You see how these cookie cutter apartments are being built all over the country that cost $2,300. This has been planned since the 70s. They've been planning this, that this is going to happen. And also they planned it to take a certain amount of men out of the homes back in the day. That was by design. So what we're having right now with Lil Durk and his drill music, he didn't even realize that he was an agent of chaos. Lil Durk was created by the system. He's an agent of chaos and he didn't know it. He was there. He had a job to do that he didn't know what job it was. He thought that he had just made it. He's successful. He's talking about bullshit and killing. No, they wanted him to talk about that. Now they don't need him no more, so they're going to throw him out. It's either that or he'll get killed prematurely. One or the other. But they don't need him no more. They don't. They don't need him anymore. I'm old enough to remember when rap changed. I remember it used to be fight the power and this and that and self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. I remember Big Daddy Kane. I remember KRS-One, Knowledge Reigns Supreme. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when it changed. It changed with NWA. That's when it changed. The government stepped in. All of them were agents. That's when it stepped in. That's when some of you can tweak what I'm saying a little bit because some stuff I'm leaving out. You know what I'm saying? But add into the discussion if you remember, and correct me as I go along in this chat today, because everybody has a memory of it. Everybody. I remember when rap changed. Did you know the universal language is music? Actually, the universal language is music. It's a feeling you get when you listen to music. That's why when you see Nas go to Norway, they can't even maybe speak English, some of them, but they like his music. It's a universal language. You can infect the mind just through frequencies. Dude, it's so deep right now. I can't. I don't even know. I have to verify this. What I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna have to come back in another chat. I have to verify it, but Michael Jackson told it, and he was out of here after he told it. He was out of here. Out. You said in 1982 it changed. Wow, you going back to 82. Well, let's stop for a minute. So 1982. I don't remember because I'm being real with you. I was 7 years old, or 8, no 6. But the thing is, hip hop. Let's go back to the beginning. Hip hop in the Bronx. I do remember that a little bit because my grandmother lived in the Bronx. She used to take me to the park. And on days like today when it was warm out, they used to have the MCs out there with their radios and people be battling. That was some of the early stages of hip hop. Now, it started from the disco era. It was right after the disco era you had hip hop. And a lot of those founding fathers of hip hop, they were so coked out of their minds, they never made no money off of it. I would argue that it would start to get influence and change around NWA, man. Or even a little bit before that. But the government infiltrated it, just like they infiltrate everything else. And they promoted destruction, even in the glory days of hip hop, which is in the 90s. That's the golden age of hip hop. They say is in the 90s. They used to talk about crime in their songs, glorifying the streets and stuff like that. And but see, me, I never let it influence me though. I just like the music. I like the melodies. I can't even recite a hip hop song, not even to this day. But if I hear it, I can rap along to it if I hear it. But I just can't recite it right now. But I took it for what it is, entertainment. I didn't let it influence me. It's for young impressionable minds, it will influence you. What's up, LaShane? So yeah, it's crazy. Let's see what else. Let me see what Wack talking about.
I don't fraternize. I don't even have a conversation about it. Because look, you just firing at a random car, bro. That could be anybody. What are you doing? But listen, that's their thing. Hopefully it's showing everybody, go the other way. It ain't too late. You seeing these dudes y'all look up to, y'all think is legendary. And the rules that they obligating you to, they breaking them. And then ain't nobody doing nothing to them. I urge y'all, go the other way. Run for the hills. It should be no more hood days. Niggas better run for.
I agree with him. There should be no more hood days. There should be no glorifying this no more. Because Durk, he is in danger of they throwing him away. Hey, Chantel. What's up, Pac, man? What's going on? What's up, everybody? He's in danger. What's up, old boy? He's in danger. You said Durk said in a song, back again, that OTF Jam does murders and he paid him 50. Yeah, he did say that. They gonna play that in court. OTF Jam said he was the shooter. And he said in court, he said, yeah, I need to go rob that dude right there. And he said, Durk looked at him. He said this in court. Durk looked at him and said, yeah, now that's the jam I was looking for. Yeah, that's demonic. You know, the music is demonic. It is. It's a demon. It's an energy. And once you know who you are, like you're a human, right? But you are energy within the body. There's demonic forces out here that try to take over. And that music is demonic. The music is demonic. I'm just saying. The music is demonic, man. Like OTF Jam said, yeah, I should go rob that dude right there. And he said, Durk looked at him and said, that's the jam I was waiting for. That's the jam. Like, dude, you got millions and you worried about robbing somebody. Hey, man. But they have a place for him to go, though. They do. They have a place for him.
All right, he said he putting this amount on that guy.
Does that sound crazy to you, right?
That sounds wild. I think they over exaggerating shit. Because if Durk putting $500,000 on these people, they wouldn't be here. Are they still here? Are these people gone that he said he put the $500,000 on?
Well, he was talking about Quando Rondo and shit by the weekend. You know who co-conspirator 4 was?
Yeah, I said it 5 days ago. I told everybody co-conspirator number 4 is Duty Low. I told everybody 5 days ago.
Wait, how the hell you know that?
Because he told me on my FaceTime. What?
No, hold on. But they said the story is he knew a weed man, and the weed man told him, hey, Quando about to buy some weed from us. So whatever it is, and he used that location. He said, oh, we know exactly where that nigga at because he leaving out of this hotel to go buy the weed.
I mean, listen, I don't know how he got out of it, but evidently he proved that he didn't have nothing to do with it, or he wasn't part of lining the dude up to get him murked because they didn't charge him. Once they picked the jury without charging him, he was good.
Yeah. No. Boy, you don't think they could come back around?
Nah.
You don't think they could come back around and charge him?
Charge him for what?
They said they did a subpoena on the iCloud. You never know. You heard what Durk said. Delete my iCloud if they own me, though. He said, there's no point in getting a lawyer if your homie told.
Yo, Durk did say that in a rhyme. He said it's no point in getting a lawyer if your homie told. You know what I'm saying? It's like he knew that OTF Jam was getting ready to do that because he wrote a rhyme about it. That's what's creepy about this. Durk had some premonitions that OTF Jam was about to turn him in. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. OTF Jam. OTF Jam. Shit. Let me see if I could find. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. Let me see if I could find. See what the Trap Lord is saying, because they were getting that Trap Lord Ross out in the courtroom today, telling him to delete stuff, all types of stuff. Trap Lord Ross. He's been on this thing. They calling him like a Vlad type of person.
Right, the prosecution had worded it in a way that it sounded like Didi had posted it, and I posted that on Twitter. I came back, and Didi's lawyer spent a whole hour breaking down in meticulous detail
how this was a repost. It wasn't an original post. Didi hadn't typed the post. He had reposted it into a group chat. It was that post that said, at Quando Rondo, we're your pipe at gang. He had reposted it into a chat along with his own comment, basically saying he looking crazy. Like he basically, it was he playing crazy, right? So as soon as I got out of court after hearing Didi's lawyer argue that point very, very well, maybe a little bit too well, maybe the point had already come home before, you know, he talked about it for a much longer time than he needed to talk about it. And I felt like he might have brought more attention to the fact that that was a bit of an unsavory thing to repost. I posted that. As soon as I got out, I said Didi's lawyer just clapped back. But for some reason, it seems like the people at the courthouse, the people that have been following this case, and Durk's team specifically, they're not reading everything. They're over here reading the transcripts, but they're not reading all of my tweets. So everybody was upset about the tweet that I posted when I got out the courtroom the first time. Nobody had talked about the second tweet where I said that Didi's lawyer just clapped back, and I got confronted by Lil Durk's PR woman. She screamed in my face outside the courtroom, delete the tweet. I said, what do you mean? Like, what about Dee Dee's lawyer talking for an hour about, you know, basically making the point? I said, I came out the courtroom, I was given the impression that Dee Dee had posted it. Dee Dee's lawyer went back into the courtroom. He made it very clear. He made a very long, extended, maybe an overextended argument about why that wasn't the case. He got his point home. He got his point further than home, right? He got the point so far home that he might have, you know, left it on screen a little bit too long and made things look a little bit bad. Durk's PR person said, I'm not talking about that. We're not talking about that. So they're just ignoring the facts. They're pressing me over stuff that's like incomplete information. I'm just coming out the courtroom, giving you guys the updates as soon as I possibly can. Yes, sometimes the prosecution are going to say things that aren't true. Sometimes the defense are going to say things that aren't true. Brian Steele said several things that are absolutely false when he was doing cross-examination just now. He referred to King Von as K. Von Bennett numerous times. That's not his name. Is anyone going to call out Brian Steele for getting that wrong? No, of course they're not, right? He made a bunch of other mistakes. He said that Quando Rondo had crowned and anointed Lil Tim as King Tim after the killing of King Von. No, he didn't. It was a random other rapper from Savannah, Georgia that put that out after King Von died. And then he also said numerous times that King Von was murdered. Was not a murder. The prosecution made it very clear it was a self-defense killing. Yes, he was charged with murder, but it was not proven as a murder. So no one's going to talk about Brian Steele literally getting up in the courtroom and lying. People want to get onto me for making a tweet and then basically updating you when I heard from Dee Dee's lawyer. It's insane. All right, so a couple of really interesting things just came out of the courtroom, and it kind of relates to some of these alleged gang connections that have been brought up. So they kind of teased some of the things that it sounds like maybe OTF Jam or, you know, some of the other cooperating witnesses are going to say, and they basically hinted, we might be hearing some of that testimony today, but we basically heard an update that apparently one of those folks is going to call Dee Dee the leader of Tay-Town, not a shooter. There was someone that kind of inferred that he was a shooter, and basically they're saying no, they're going to claim that he is a leader of the Tay-Town set. Apparently, another participating witness that is cooperating with the government is basically going to say that Durk was mad at members of O Block for not protecting King Von at the time of the shooting, okay, which is interesting because that kind of is going to contradict these claims that apparently, you know, King Von had said to Vonnie before he passed away after getting shot, why didn't you protect me? Why'd you let him shoot me like that? Now, what's crazy is apparently OTF Jam overheard a conversation with Durk, members of O Block, Dee Dee, and Booney Mo, basically saying that apparently Durk had actually paid for members of O Block to have an Airbnb in Atlanta, and he was mad that they didn't slide for Von when they were at that Airbnb in Atlanta. It's crazy. So another thing that was interesting, obviously we're hearing all this stuff about Durk said don't book no flights in my name, and they're trying to say, oh, you know, Durk didn't know what was going on, like them flights ain't have nothing to do with him, there wasn't more details. Now this wasn't connected to the murder of Lil Pab, but apparently there is text between Durk and that same guy who was ordering his flights, Jason, back in December the 3rd, 2020, after Von died, where Durk was saying they need flights blood. He's saying who? He's saying Dee Dee. He's saying Booney Mo. He's saying Christopher Wright. So another thing that came up was that they basically kind of went back and forth and showed some of the stuff that King Von was posting when he was still alive. Now, Von actually posted an Instagram of himself and Lil Durk when he was alive, and it had a pretty crazy caption. It said, if Smirk want an N-word dead, then an N-word dead on O, you know how I'm coming. If you got it, I got it. If I got it, you gave it to me. Durk's one of my top 5 people alive. I love you. Now, look. That don't prove anything. King Von made that before he was even dead, but it just kind of like builds up this close relationship between, you know, Von and Durk, and the get back and the slide in and the footage of Von getting killed, which was obviously shown previously. Now, we then moved on. This detective gave a lot of information, but we then moved on to cross-examination. And look, I am a little bit upset. I'm a little bit salty that Brian Steele said a few things that I know not to be true from my research. But that said, I'll keep it real. Brian Steele did an amazing job, and he really, really grilled this detective. It kind of gives a bit of a stale taste in your mouth when it's like, damn.
I heard that Brian, when he was talking to the detective, he wanted to know how come most of the interviews were not recorded. You know, he kind of hammered in on that. How come it wasn't recorded? Only a few of them was recorded. So in my mind, if I'm a juror, I'm thinking, could they be working out an alibi, helping them out get their alibis together, and then put it on official recording to bring to court? I don't know. This still don't look good, though, even though we still have a lot of trial to go. They said this could be over by the 14th, so they got a lot of trial to go. but it don't look good, and it ain't over yet either. You know, because like I said, OTF Jam is on the stand, but he's still being questioned by the government. The defense has not cross-examined him yet, which is going to be Brian Steele. And I can tell you right now, I've seen Brian Steele up close in action at the Diddy trial. He is good as advertised. When I tell you he has the theatrics and everything, the way his court presence, the way he talks to the jury, may I please the jury, he has it all. He has he's the total package. And I know he brought his partner with him. I forget the sister's name right now. I know she's with him. But he is like what you call the total package. He's the total package. He will create doubt. That's why Diddy didn't get convicted on the RICO. It was because of Brian Steele and them. Brian Steele created so much doubt, man. I was like, yo, Diddy, he's not guilty, man. I said they haven't. And look, after that, I said they haven't met their burden. Remember, the government has to meet their burden here in order for Durk to go away. They have to meet their burden. It only takes one juror to say not guilty for this to be a hung jury. It only takes one. And that's what Keefe D is hoping for too. He's hoping it just takes one to hang that right there. But Keefe has more of a chance than Durk does though, right now. And remember what they say about the government. When the government comes in, that means they have an airtight case on you. But they thought they had it with Diddy, but they didn't. They didn't. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's political. But I know Durk, though, they want him to go away. They want Durk to get out of here. They want him to get out of here, man.
He really grilling them, but they're
saying a few things that aren't right. He's messing a few names up. He got King Von's name wrong numerous times. He called him Kayvon Bennett numerous times. And it's just kind of like, bro, like, come on, man. But I don't think the judge knew. I don't think the judge worked it out. I don't think he cared. We're going to do a full update on everything that was going on with Brian Steele right after this video. I'll let you know what was going on. He did actually do a very good job, but he did make a few mistakes. There was a crazy moment in court today when they finally played Lil Durk's unreleased Red Man music video. They didn't play the whole video and they didn't even play the song, but they played the intro with sound. And I'm not going to lie, it was looking like a great video. It was looking like a big budget video. They had an actor that looked just like Quando Rondo. He was dressed in the outfit that Lil Tim was wearing when King Von got killed. I believe the video was made by infamous video maker Jerry Production, who's produced a lot of videos for Durk as well as Von. I'm not gonna lie, the video looked fire. It looked big budget, but obviously what was bad was it showed Lil Durk sliding in the back of a van with what looked like a Mac, but like, you know, it's like, sort of like a mini machine gun type gun, pulling up on this Quando Rondo lookalike, shooting him dead in the street, shooting him on the ground.
Stop. Time out. They made a video on it. They made a reenactment in the video. Oh my God. It's demonic, man. It is. This is demonic. I don't know how look, let me just say this. If Lil Durk lose this case, it wasn't his lawyer's fault. I could promise you that. It's not their fault. They only work with what they have to work with. And he wants to take this to the door. When I say take it to the door, the jury trial. Take it all the way to the box, as they say. He's taking this all the way to the box, man. The jury trial. And for me, I don't know. Like, I've seen Brian Steele in action, so I cannot count him out. This guy worked miracles. I've already seen him work 2 miracles. Okay? He can work. This man works miracles, man. He's like what, for all my Yankee fans, I got my Yankee hat on? Yeah, for all my Yankee fans, he's the Mariano Rivera. Now, for all my Yankee fans, you know Mariano Rivera, we call him the closer. Whenever Mariano come in, we know the game is over. We know the game is secured when they bring in Mariano Rivera, the great Yankee closer. He's the Mariano Rivera, man. He's the closer. He's what I call, he's a miracle maker. Okay, he can create doubt. And they got Drew Finley. Okay, he's good too. Okay, his whole lawyer team is good. Durk, I give it to Durk, man. He got a good team, man. He does. But I remember when, you know, Diddy, during some of Diddy trial, he was a little bit dejected. Diddy was. It was sometimes where he was like a little bit rejected. Like, oh my God, his shoulders down. But anytime he heard Brian Steele, oh, Diddy, man, he was all ears. He was all smiling when Brian was around. And Brian was sitting with Diddy the whole time. During the whole Diddy trial, Brian Steele and Diddy was like twins. And that's what kept Diddy from losing his mind. It was Brian Steele. If now when you say nullification, now the only way I would practice jury nullification is for Keefe D. I would nullify it. I would nullify it. I said I'm fucking confused. I don't know if he did it or not. I'm nullifying and saying not guilty. Even though Keefe said he did it, I'm still gonna nullify it because first of all, y'all took too long to try to convict him. You took too long. It's damn near 30 years. What took y'all so long? You know why I think what took them so long? Because I believe the police were involved. That's why. So I'm nullifying it. For Keefe, I'm nullifying it. Not guilty. I'm nullifying it. And when I say nullify, it's perfectly legal to do, to nullify. The judge is not going to give you instructions on jury nullification. You just have to, something you have to know. It's perfectly legal to do it. Meaning that you're going to say not guilty even though he could be guilty. I'm going to say not guilty for Keefe. Keefe going home if it was me. Not guilty. This is ridiculous. This is a waste of taxpayers' money. You should have been, even though there's no statute of limitations on murder. I know this. What's up, Corvette Girl? What's up, everybody? What's up, Truth? What's up, Sharice? There's no statute of limitations on murder. I get it. But damn, it took 30 years. Y'all could have solved this 25 years ago. Even the hip hop police that created the hip hop police, he passed away recently. He's no longer here. He had information to give. Derek Parker, he's no longer here anymore. And what did Derek Parker say? He said that the Biggie and Tupac murders could be solved. He was the first person to say that Jam Master Jay's killers were at the funeral. He said that. Derek Parker said it. And it turned out to be true. The killers of Jam Master Jay was at his funeral. Derek Parker said these murders could be solved if they want them to be solved. I'm beginning to think Keefe didn't do it. I'm beginning to think so now. I don't think he did it. I think they created a storyline for him to use for him to be the scapegoat eventually. They were playing chess with Keefe. So with that being said, I'm nullifying it. I'm saying he's not guilty for Keefe. Now, as far as Lil Durk is concerned, you can't kill people out here indiscriminately. There has to be some just reason. You just can't take a life. It has to be your life's on the line. These people are acting like they're the Godfather. So I don't know about Lil Durk. I don't know if I would nullify this. I don't know. But what I can tell you is this. He got Brian Steele there. He's in business. I've seen him. I've seen him because everybody out there, oh, they don't look good for Diddy. I said, wait a minute. What you mean it don't look good for him? They haven't met their burden. People saying, what do you mean, Max? What do you mean? I said, yes, they met the burden as far as domestic violence. Yes, Diddy is guilty of that. That should have been a state case a long time ago. But the reason why it's not a state case, because the statute of limitations for Cassie ran out. So they had to make it into a criminal enterprise for it to go to trial. This was political, what happened to Diddy. It was political, and they interviewed me on it. That's why I wasn't on Nancy Grace and all them other shows, because they interviewed me. When they interviewed me, they interviewed Neek at Night, they interviewed Tisa Tales, they interviewed all of us, the same person. They want to get our feel for us before they call us on the show. They invited all them, they didn't invite me. They had my number, they didn't invite me. They said, well, do you have like a collar shirt? Because I had a white t-shirt on. They said, do you have a collar shirt? I said, I have one in the car. They said, oh, your car is here? I said, yeah, my car is in the parking garage right around the corner. I can just go get a shirt. Yeah, my car is in the parking garage. It's not a problem. But anyway, I'm just giving you a background on how the government can be tricky with you. So you need to spend money in order for the playing field to be level. So Diddy had to spend a lot of money for Brian Steele and Mark Agnifilo and Tenny Garagos, which is Mark Garagos' daughter, and company. Diddy had about 8 lawyers at the table, maybe 9. Maybe 10 if you count the extra lawyers that was there with him. He had a lot of lawyers at the table. So, but everybody don't have that, you know? So, let's see what else Trap Lord is saying. Because people are coming after Trap Lord today. People don't like him out here, guys. This guy here, they don't.
Ground standing over him, pulling off his mask.
And revealing that it was Durk that did it. Now, I'm not going to lie, the video looked fire. I wish I could have watched the whole thing, but obviously it wasn't a great look.
Oh, wait a minute. They said, I got this from another content creator. They said as soon as OTF Jam hit the stand, it was on. He said, well, you know, he talking about the murder that happened outside the Beverly Center involving Lil Pop dying. Who were the shooters? He said he was one of them. He was one of the shooters, guys. Oh, my God. He named himself as one of the shooters. He said, who was all involved? Me, him. He pointed out everybody in the courtroom. OTF Jam. I was like, oh my God, did that really happen? Yeah. They said he was one of the shooters. So imagine how the jury took that. That was a very important thing that happened in court. And then also they shared a text message saying that what Lil Durk said, this keep me out of this. So that means they already established the fact that Lil Durk knew about it. Oh my God, that is bad. Yo, see, the thing is, it's not his lawyer's fault if he gets convicted here. He should have taken a deal on this one. You don't take this to the box. He even rapped about it. He said, you don't need lawyers if your homie is telling. You don't need no lawyers. He right about that. Should have taken a deal, man. OTF, yo, they said he pointed them out. Who was involved in the shoot? He said him. He said he was involved. He was the third shooter. You hear me? He said he was the third shooter. The third one. Oh my God. I wish I would have been in the courtroom for that one.
Look for the jury, and what made it even
Worse is it had all this dramatic kind of movie style score music in the background, and if I'm real with you, it really built up a vibe. It really built up this kind of terrifying murder, true crime vibe in the video that I'm sure Durk is probably regretting from when he made that video. But it was very interesting because Brian Steele kind of clapped back. He said that this video is art. He pointed out that Quando Rondo had also made a video where they depicted Durk getting shot and killed. It was interesting because they showed a screenshot of the Lil Durk lookalike in the video. That was shown by the prosecution. But weirdly, they didn't show the music video for that. So weirdly, the prosecution didn't actually bring up the video now because I kind of know a little bit too much about this case. I know that it's the song Soul Reaper, right? I got it for you there. I just looked it up and double checked. But it's the song Soul Reaper where they had a Lil Durk lookalike and they didn't even bring this up. I'm surprised they didn't bring this up, but Lil Pab, the actual victim, is in that video killing Lil Durk. They didn't bring that up. I'm surprised they didn't. But regardless of that, that was shown as part of when they showed the Quando Rondo interview with Angela Yee in the back of the Rolls Royce. And they pointed out he's in a Rolls Royce. Look at the headrest. They didn't say why, but they're obviously going to introduce the evidence later on that Durk had lyrics where he's talking about that Rolls better be bulletproof. We're going to shoot at the stars. But anyway, Brian Steele kind of brought forward a bunch of stuff to basically say.
Wait. They said that Rolls Royce better be bulletproof because they shooting at the stars. Oh, God. I remember that interview he did with Angela Yee. Quando Rondo. I remember that. He did an interview with Angela Yee and it wasn't a Rolls Royce. Yep. And they said the Rolls Royce better be bulletproof because they shooting at the stars. Yo, you know what this rap is? It's real life rap. They rap about what they doing. That's craziness. And to make it more credible, you got to be really doing it. You got to be really a hitter. You got to be really a shooter. What the fuck is these people on, yo? What type of time these people on, man? These are demons. It better be bulletproof because they shooting for the stars.
Hey, look, you didn't question
Quando Rondo's art when he had a lookalike that, you know, a Durk lookalike that was killed in the Soul Reaper video. you're judging Durk's art. He said Jerry Productions a very accomplished video maker. You know, Durk didn't necessarily have anything to do with this video. They said, you know, the video wasn't released. He didn't really land on any of those points, but I think what he was trying to infer was that Durk didn't know. You know, everybody knows that Durk was having these problems about, you know, what had happened with Von. There's a scene in the video where Durk's looking at his phone and you kind of see all these news articles about Von popping up. But I think what Brian Steele was trying to infer that, like, someone else, maybe Jerry Production, had come up with the concept of the video based on everything that was going on. And perhaps, maybe Durk wasn't happy with the way he was depicted in that video and decided not to release it. But unfortunately, they got that video from someone in his team's phone, and they were able to show that intro where he kills the Quando lookalike in the courtroom. And just the spooky music they added to it, I would say definitely made it worse. But Brian Steele did a great job of arguing against it, and I'm about to tell you everything about Brian Steele in another video. Okay, so there was some crazy evidence that was shared today. I'm going to be very careful about what I say. I don't want Durk's team to scream at me outside the courtroom telling me to delete everything like they did today. But look, I'm just going to be careful about what I say. They brought up some of these Duty Low messages. There were messages back and forth with Duty Low. Now, I want to just be very careful what I say. It seemed like they were inferring that Durk was kind of going back and forth in these messages, but I don't know if that can be 100% proven. They were saying that there were a lot of messages that were deleted. Durk's efforts to apparently delete his messages very regularly seemed like he was actually having some success with deleting these messages, okay? It seemed to suggest that Duty Low had gone back and forth with somebody that was saved as Slime Life Shorty. Now, I know Slime Life Shorty is someone in Atlanta who was brought up in, you know, the Young Thug situation, and there was even kind of a, you know, a whole thing where, you know, Young Thug had dropped that song, talk about Slime Life Shorty, you know, I hope you put down your 40, but it seemed like that was what Duty had Durk saved as, but I can't be 100% sure. But the context of the conversations seemed to have Duty kind of going back and forth with Durk. They basically seemingly had a bit of a celebration. So what was interesting, right, was apparently Duty Low had done a reaction, like a laughing reaction, to a message that said no, which was right after Quando Rondo was screaming on the street no over Lil Pab's body. Now, they had basically recovered that reaction, but what they didn't have was the original messages. So we don't know for sure, but it seemed like it would have been a reaction to Durk's message saying no, but we don't have that. And then basically we saw this back and forth with Duty Low, and basically before anyone says Duty Low's telling or he's cooperating or anything like that, the feds basically said that they had numerous warrants for numerous iCloud accounts with Duty Low. It was hot for Duty Low, and the feds were onto him, and that clearly they I don't know how they did it. I don't know if he even know they got it, but they got all of his iCloud info from his phone. But basically, they went back and forth. Duty Low had apparently said to this person, it was saved in his phone, keep your head on, Slime. In the pain, I'm with you for life. Sorry, no, this was the person said to Duty Low, keep your head on, Slime. I'm in this pain, I'm with you for life. I'm drilling about this shit. Duty Low said, I love you, Slime. They said, I love you back, Slat. It's up about this shit. After that, this person was messaging Duty Low saying, where you?
Yo, he took some hell of a notes. He said it's up about this shit. He said, you know what I'm saying? We sliding. It's up. It's up. That's what their life consists of, just getting back at the ops. Guys, what kind of yo, the government, they did their thing on us, bro. They damn sure did. They did their thing, man. It's all about getting back at the ops. You know what I'm saying? He said it's up, bro. It's up on this. It's up. It's craziness.
You out, I'm at the crib, Duty Low saying,
Call me. And then that person that saved the Slime Life Shorty sends Duty Low Quando Rondo's number, and he says Quando's number. They said it's one of his phones. And then the next day, there's a message back and forth where that person that saved the Slime Life Shorty, that it seemed like it could have been Durk, but not 100% confirmed at this stage. They basically said, I've got an N-word from Savannah who got drops. Obviously, Savannah, Georgia is where Quando Rondo is from, drops his locations. And Durk says, this is him, you want his number? Duty Low says, yeah, and he sends the number. Now, obviously, it was made very clear nothing was necessarily slid about. They never tried to do a drive-by on Lil Tim or anything like that in Savannah. But obviously, these messages were going back and forth, and it's not a great look. But look, I'll let you know more when I have more context. All right, so we just heard a couple of really interesting updates from the court about how Durk and them were treating OTF Jam. Now, obviously, they worked out that he was apparently getting ready to snitch. We've heard more about these messages. You know, they're basically saying Jam getting ready to snitch, clear as day. They were cutting him off. There was apparently a conversation we heard about previously where, you know, Durk and them had taken him into a bathroom stall at a music video shoot and said to him, you making it hot, you catching bodies, you getting the feds on us, you need to chill out, you might need to leave town. And then there were a whole bunch of back and forth messages that we saw where Jam had apparently said, like, hey, why is everyone scared of me? Ever since that day, nobody want to be around me. What's going on? Well, now we heard even more details from the conversation, and it seemed like Durk was kind of cooking Jam. This was a little bit more context they added. He said Jam just ready to snitch blood, clear as day on Lil Mo, and then he basically said, wait, what'd he say? He basically said something along the lines of like, blood not even down here, but he F with Lil Tay, he different. They said he pulling a GD move, so Durk acting like all the GDs are the ones who be telling. Obviously, he's got a big gang war with the GDs, but they're not allowed to talk about that today. But then Durk went on to say he a real goofy. Now, Didi then sent an image into the group chat, the OTF group chat, that was a screenshot of a chat that he'd had with Jam. Or basically he had showed the screenshot of it, and he said, Jam said, what's up? Is it fuck him? Let us know what it is. Jam want to talk to you. Stand on lawyer so he can be there on the 20th. So it sounded like they weren't sure if Jam was already telling. Jam was asking for a lawyer, asking if he was going to stand on it, saying Jam want to talk to you, all this kind of stuff. And then the prosecution revealed that at this point, apparently during this conversation, or basically on August the 24th, 2023, Jam was already in custody in Chicago. And then there was another reply, Durk saying about Jam. They said he going to tell soon. And then Didi replied he thinks he can break us down on Mom for real. And then apparently Didi had said in description of Jam, he a Alpo ass dude, obviously in reference to the the infamous snitch over on the East Coast. And then
Hold up. He said he an Alpo ass dude. What is? Oh my God! I thought that was funny because how would they know about Alpo? But they heard the stuff. He said he an Alpo ass dude. What the fuck? And OTF Jam is the killer. He's the shooter. That's what he's known for, is a shooter. And they said you catching too many bodies, maybe you got to go somewhere else. You're getting the feds on this. These people are living. It's like they rapping as they live. They rap. It's like it's all one big rap video. It's crazy.
somebody in the chat that was called Loyal basically said, beware of everyone, not just Jam. And then after that, there was some more back and forth where that person went on to say at this point, for real, weird ass people. And then after that, apparently Booney said that the feds had been going to the jails, talking to everybody that came in. They'd basically been hearing rumors that inside the jails, inside the prisons in Chicago, is anyone that had anything to do with Durk, the cops were sitting them down and trying to talk to them. They're saying they're trying to sit everyone down and ask for the ABC. And that's when Durk said that line. He said, as long as we don't break, they can tell them whatever. So, yeah, I'm not going to lie. That was a pretty crazy exchange. So we finally saw Brian Steele cross-examine this kind of big detective. And look, Brian Steele put on a very, very good display. He grilled him about all the times that, you know, these interviews were conducted. Loads of interviews were conducted. They weren't recorded. And look, I'll be real. Brian Steele told a couple of lies, made a couple of mistakes. He said that Quando Rondo was the one that crowned Lil Tim as King Tim after King Von died. That's not true. That was another rapper from Savannah. Nothing to do with Quando Rondo. He was an associate. He was an affiliate. But as far as I'm aware, immediately after King Von died, Quando Rondo wasn't the one saying, free Lil Tim, hold up, wait, it's King Tim. He also referred to King Von as Kayvon Bennett numerous times, which him, and he basically made the point. He said, well, did you know that there was a song called Get Back? When he was in.
Guys, you realize how crazy this is, man. Guys, this is it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Let me see what else we got. No, he's still alive. He's still alive too.
So when you just writing this shit down and the report's don't come out till 2 weeks later, you can tweak that bitch. You see what I'm saying? And that's why.
Stand there. I have nowhere to go. So if I'm in the car with them, You'll notice I don't have a gun, I don't have a mask. I'm not on this drill with these guys to kill people. I'm just
a victim of, I'm with them on this trip, so I can't go nowhere else. Now we're hearing Jam say, nah, Didi was about to actually kill this dude.
Said I could kill him right now, it would be so easy, but they said, nah, the block's too hot, there's too many cops out here downtown LA, I'm not going to go through with it. And then they went back to the crib. Insane. So it looks like it's official. Duty Low has been confirmed as co-conspirator.
Okay. All right, bet. Thank you, Trap Lord Ross. See if we can get an overall wrap up from everybody else who's there. Who else? I think we're rocking with Taylor for a bit, so let's see if Taylor has anything for the end of the day. Okay, we did read that. Okay, we're waiting on our end of day thing. Denot, I don't think he recorded anything. Seti Nash probably did. Did he? Okay, let's go to the Blackshire dude. Here we go. Actually, before we do that, let's go with Mel. Okay, the government witness announced that Jerome Casey Hester would be their next witness, and you could hear a pin drop. Jerome, every time someone opened the door, we would look to see if it was him. He finally walked in, and the door, the judge enters, the prosecutor says, "What's up?" Jam says, "What's up?" Okay. After confirming he participated in the killing of Pob, the government asked Jam, "Did you see anybody else who also participated?" He said, "Yeah, Durk, Didi, and I don't know that nigga name, but he over there." The government said you could just point to what he's wearing. So, well, he's wearing a black suit. He got a bald head. Jam named off all the charges he's pled guilty to, and it's for more than just this case. I believe I heard conspiracy to commit murder, conspiracy to commit kidnapping, and murder. So, look like all of the other cases he had before is gonna all roll into this global plea he's taking, which includes him trying to get a 5K1 letter. Jam,
which means that he's probably looking at no more than 10 years. I'm talking about OTF Jam. He probably looking at no more than 10 years for his cooperation, and or probably he'll get out even before then. Though it just depends on if they get the conviction here. He could walk free. It just depends on, but when he sat down, guys, and he pointed out, like, okay, you were involved in the murder. Who else? He pointed everybody out on the defense table. He pointed, it's almost like it's damn near over for him. If the jury believes him, like I said, we're going to see what Brian Steele do. But I think Jam is going to be on the stand for a while. At least to the end of the week. It's Wednesday now, but you said the reporters cooking bring clear facts and inform. Yeah, the reporter that's on Trap Lord Ross. They're one of Durk's publicists was yelling at him outside the courtroom to tell him to delete some tweets, and then it was a Muslim guy that got in his face, was trying to tell him something. So he got a bodyguard out there, though. He does. He has a bodyguard with him, so.
Described committing a robbery turned murder in 2010. It seems like it'd be connected to the kidnapping and murder plea. He went with an older gang member with the intent of robbing a store owner who was believed to have owed a family member money. They went in, locked the door, scuffle ensued. Older gang member tells Jam, "Shoot him!" He does. The gang member says, "Nah, this guy knows me. I'm gonna go to jail. You gotta kill him." Jam puts the gun to his head, pulls the trigger. Jam was only 17. Jam confessed to the incident in 2023 while talking to feds about his case. And yes, it was part of this plea currently. Jam described being in prison, and Durk gave his lawyer $1,000. It was unexpected. I ain't asked for it. We ain't have a close relationship. Jam also learned Durk shouted him out on the song while in prison. While the inmates would see him, they would say, "Free my nigga Jam, get out that jam." And he didn't know why at first, but later he learned that Durk said it in a song. About the alleged bounty, Durk said him, Didi, Duty Low, Vonnie, and Twin were all at a studio in Atlanta. Durk said, while speaking about 6ix9ine trolling about Slide for Vaughn stuff, Durk expressed being upset about people not doing what they rap about. According to Jam, Durk said, man, if a motherfucker catch Quando or Lil Tim, man, you niggas gonna be straight, man, if you do what you gotta do. Jam says he took catch them to mean killed them. People in the studio nodded their heads. Someone in the studio said, well, what you mean, though? Like half a ticket or $1 million? Durk said, man, whatever, man. Motherfucker gonna be straight. Don't worry about nothing. He said, oh, we had a first mistrial motion from Steele. Jam was talking about when he first got out of prison. He was at a club. So this is now 2012. No, 2022, I'm sorry. Okay? So 2022, he gets out of prison. He's at a club. When did Tory go to jail? That year, right? He says Tory and the crew were there. Jam told Durk somebody with Tory had glittery jewelry, which was shiny. He said it made him want to rob him. Durk allegedly replies, that's the Jam I want to see. This was a given example how Durk encouraged him to be violent. Durk defense argued that this prejudicial because it's essentially saying that Durk encouraged robbery, which is not a part of the case, shouldn't have been said. Additionally, because the person mentioned was Tory Lanez, the jury could attach a greater significance to this. The mistrial was denied. All right. We're getting up there, chat. We're getting up there. I can't lie to you. Tomorrow is going to be another fucking movie.
Today has already been... I can't even begin to tell y'all. Yeah, tickets is considered $1 million in terms of currency. Here we go. We have another video by Trap Lore. Here we go.
I might have heard one of the damnest things in this whole trial today when OTF Jam was actually on the stand. He said that there was basically all these frantic phone calls made when they got Quando Rondo's location to a bunch of hitters in Chicago trying to get them on a job. It was Didi and Booney Mo. Apparently Booney Mo was specifically the person that called him and basically asked him about being involved. But he had Lil Durk on a FaceTime call on another phone on speaker. So Jam knew that Durk was there and that he was privy to this call. He overheard Booney Mo saying, "Blood, you there?" on the other line. And then basically, apparently, all right, he didn't have any info about what the hit was going to be. So Jam tried to call Lil Durk directly 2 times. Durk didn't answer. And then Booney called him back and said, hey, Durk doesn't want no one calling his phone that's coming out to LA. He didn't want no contact with anyone that's flying out to LA. So Jam said, like, he knew something crazy was going on, but he didn't actually know what the details were. He ends up getting flown out to LA, and this absolutely blew my mind. He ends up getting flown out to San Diego, driven to LA. They're in this, like, Sprinter bus, okay? They stop off at a Hooters in San Diego, and they basically get told on a FaceTime by Duty Low they got Quando Rondo's location, and the whole reason they've been flown out there is to kill him. They're going to trick him and say that somebody's going to come and deliver him some weed at his hotel, and they're going to kill him outside his hotel. But what?
God, this is too much. This is worse than the mafia. Like I don't know if listen. Yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to get him. Yo, why don't they... Listen, I don't agree with violence. I don't. I wish they could have did that for Trayvon. I wish they could have slid for Trayvon like this. Why couldn't they slide for Trayvon like this, man? All this right here, they could have been slid for Trayvon. Oh, you know? Golly. But I get it. They're not going after normal civilians. They're going after people within the lifestyle. I get it. Let me see. Shit. Let me see. What are we gonna do? Let me go to. You see what I'm saying? Hold on one second. Let me find it. Let me find who I'm looking for.
Lil Durk update. Day 1 of the trial is in.
Looking for him.
All right, the update from the afternoon. We're on break. The mid-afternoon break. Now, I'm not quite sure if I walked into the wrong courtroom. I'm pretty sure I've been covering a murder for hire trial, but this afternoon we were talking about street gangs and a conspiracy to engage in gang activity case. I'm not quite sure. We got a full-fledged education on the Chicago gang scene, the official rights of passage, hierarchy, and everything else of the gang known as the Black Disciples. Look, I say that in jest, but the prosecution opened up Pandora's box. OTF Jam has taken the stand. They have questioned him extensively, having him relay his entire history with this street gang, his involvement, the murders he's committed. We will get into the OTF Jam testimony in depth. It requires truly reporting. It requires reporting. Does not require headlines, doesn't require, oh my God, it was so crazy. This was probably the heaviest courtroom moment of this trial easily, or any courtroom that I've ever been in. You had a convicted murderer testifying to get free while putting away a person who he admitted looked out for him throughout his time in prison, put money on his books, always took time out of his day, no matter how busy he was, to answer his calls, to make sure he got through that period of incarceration, get Jam out that jam. And he is testifying to try to send him away for life, talking extensively about his initiation into the gang from the age of 9 forward, his first murder, followed by his many other murders. It was the heaviest courtroom that I've ever been in. We will continue with the OTF Jam case. This is Pandora's box, because what you've done is you've got Jam in there talking about, oh, we'd have weekly Friday meetings. Okay, Steele's gonna be like, when was the last meeting? When was the last one Durk was at? And there's just gonna be so much more. This testimony, I think, is gonna go on for a while. The cross is gonna go on for a really long time, because they have turned this into a wide-reaching gang case where they're just trying to prove, look, he's one gangster, Durk eventually became part of the gang, Durk is on top of the gang, and so he follows the orders. Well, what about all the times people didn't listen to what? It's just gonna open up Pandora's box, arguing about every single thing that Jam is testifying to. We will get into the cross. Stay tuned. All right, the update. All right, what just happened at the Lil Durk trial deserves the headline, the oh my God, that was crazy. They have shut down the overflow courtroom. I saw one man apprehended by the federal court officers. There was the FBI agent questioning him also. The picture has been taken. I'm not going to post it because I don't want to get banned from reporting on this case, but there was a picture that was taken of Jam on the stand from the overflow room. So there's the main.
Oh, I don't want to post that photo. Somebody did take a photo of OTF Jam in the courtroom. And that was leaked today. I saw that. Because I was like, how are they able to take photos in the courtroom? That's illegal. But somebody did it. Somebody sure did. Yep, somebody sure did, man. They took a picture of OTF Jam on the witness stand. And whoever took that picture, they in trouble. I know if you guys didn't see the photo yet, but yeah, that's what's going on.
Room, the courtroom, and if you can't get in because it's too full, there's an overflow room where you can go to. Don't worry, I got a note taker in a way of getting everything that was said. So the overflow room, picture taken, feds came in, correctional officers came in. It was kind of interesting. They were very aggressive when they came in. The guy had his feet up on the thing, and I think the guy meant to say, hey, put your feet down, you're going to take you out. Instead, he said, put your feet down, I'm going to knock you out. It was intense. And we don't know who took the picture. There is some reports.
There were a couple people in the back who kind of came in looking out, I'll save the details for maybe somebody else to tell you. But anyway, some people came in the back and they might not have turned their phone in. The security, for it must be said, is very lax. If you don't want people taking pictures when the cooperator is there, you don't have any guards, or maybe one guard and he goes on break sometimes looking at what's happening in the room. It would have been very easy, court, to put 2 guards in there at the front, sitting, looking back at the people watching in the overflow room, and you wouldn't have to worry about pictures getting taken. Also, it would have been very easy to have a bigger courtroom and everybody be in that courtroom. And also, it would have been very easy to ensure that nobody got a phone in by having screening outside the door. This is a matter of the court's convenience weighed against the public interest. There is unprecedented public interest. You have to make room for the public, and they have not done that through and through this trial. And now we have this issue where the public is being outright limited in their access due to issues that the court ought to have addressed, in my fair and honest opinion. Lil Durk, day 3, trial update, what happened in the morning. First off, recording outside of the courthouse in Los Angeles in a suit is crazy. It is so hot. Just walking down the street to my hotel, I'm sweating balls. Shout out to Ross, keep doing your thing. Here's what happened on day 3. So we're halfway through the morning, we're on lunch break right now, and the detective, FBI special agent, continued his testimony from yesterday. He's kind of interesting if you ask me. One, he's African-American, he's got tightly braided cornrows. He's testifying in this hip-hop murder case where the defendants are all African-American, the jurors are all white, the judge is white. I guess there's some Hispanic jurors, and the entire audience is African-American. When he reads the text messages into evidence, oftentimes there's the use of the N-word there a lot, and he never says the N-word. He always replaces it with dude or folks, and there's always like a little murmur and a thought and some opinions amongst the crowd about that. In general, what's really interesting about him, and the judge kind of caution the prosecution about him, that he's giving a lot of opinions and he's giving a lot of his take on what these text messages mean, and to the extent the prosecution wants him to act like some type of...
Oh, I saw your message, Brian. Now, I'm not going to be surprised if Durk slide out of this because he got Brian Steele. I saw Brian Steele firsthand at the Diddy trial. I know what he can do. Yeah, I won't be surprised. And Brian Steele, you best better believe he brought his partner with him too. I forget her name. Oh no, I'm not going to be surprised for sure. Hold on, let me see. Let me see, Miguel. Hold on. All right, just send her a note. Let me see. Yeah, don't be surprised. Like I said, if Durk get out of this, I'm with you, Brian, because I I was in there in the Diddy trial throughout the whole duration. I met Brian Steele. I was on the elevator with him. I met him. Everything. Really cool guy. Really cool guy, man. And you know the crazy thing was is how profile these lawyers were. I was on the I think they knew who I was too, because you know they watch everything. And I said, hey, Brian. He said, hey, man, how you doing? You doing good? It's almost like he knew who I was. He said, keep doing your thing, whatever. I was like, what? Like, you know, they watch everything. They get a feel for different things. So, but I think also I used to see them every day. So I was just happened to be on the elevator with Tenny Garagos, Brian Steele, his partner, Mark Agnifilo. Really cool people, man. But I got a chance to see like Brian Steele do his thing every single day. And that's why I'm giving Lil Durk a chance. Yes, I am. Because he know how to create doubt, man. He does. So for sure, I'm with you on that.
Opinion expert, fine, but
guess what? On cross, we're going to let the defense go deep into his opinions and why he thinks the way he thinks, and that's exactly what happened. Brian Steele just finished his cross. Let me first talk about the evidence that came in through this special agent, and then let's talk about how Steele dealt with it on cross. So first, just finishing up on some of the testimony that came up yesterday. I mentioned in my last video, I'd bring it back for you. So NBA Youngboy came up, there was a post, there was a comment, it said something about NBA, and this agent went, oh, this is the start of the beef, and there was an objection. They went to sidebar, and basically this is not part of the evidence, this is not part of the allegations. Any claims of beefs between Youngboy and Durk are just extraneous to what has been presented, and so that conversation was stopped. Then there was this text message coming shortly after the murder in Los Angeles of Mr. Robinson, and Durk is saying, I think it was Taekwondo, but there's a text allegedly from Durk where he says, I don't want to squash nothing. I'm not talking about no peace. You want peace, take a piece of the switch. And that dovetailed with the earlier testimony from the detective or the forensics guy about a switch being used on a Glock as part of this murder. Now, the defense hasn't gotten to address that yet, but their point obviously will be, assuming they admit that that is Durk, in fact, sending that text message.
What's up, Heaven? We just going over, these are some of the people that were at the courtroom today. And it's a federal case. And you know with federal cases, there's no cameras in the courtroom. So we have to go on specific people that were there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be doing that every day. I'm going to be at the same time every day. I wait for people to get home. And we're just going to go over, wrap it up for the day, that type of thing. Unfortunately, I wish I could go to Los Angeles to be there. But it's not in the cards right now. But I wish I could just go. I wish I could just go for a few days. Just for a few days, just to see what's going on. But hey, man, it is what it is. Yeah, so that's what we're doing, Heaven.
Is a lot of the response to the other texts, including the text about turned me into an animal, about the get back. These are texts from 2 years ago. Now this came after the murder, but the point is always going to be the same from the defense, which is he's incredibly close to King Von. This is a narrative and a storyline that exists in the music industry. And the idea that he's not going to talk shit or be enraged, there was actually a moment in The Cross where he went to the FBI agent and he's like, hey, wasn't Quando putting out songs trolling, you know, Durk and that whole side of this, saying, oh, Lil Tim is now King Tim, and laughing about the death of King Von and really trolling very hard. How did you expect that Lil Durk would react to seeing all that? And the agent had no response. Like, how did you want him to react? The agent just kind of paused, and Brian Steele was like, okay, I'll take that silence. I heard a pregnant pause, and I'll take that silence to mean what it means. And then he moved on, and it was powerful testimony. And a lot of this stuff about get back, revenge, fuck you, can be seen through the lens of somebody who's extremely grief-stricken. This also went into some of the other text messages. There's text messages between Duty and Durk, and this is shortly after the murder of King Von, the killing of King Von, if you want to call it that. And Little Tim gets out on bond, and there's a text message where Durk is asking, allegedly it's Durk asking for the address, and there's somebody saying, oh, I know somebody who can get the address, and they get the address of Little Tim. And the defense's point was, okay, let's say you're the person closest to you in life is murdered. Don't you then follow all of the happenings of the defendant in that case, and don't you follow whether he gets out on bond, and don't you follow whether he's not whether he's convicted?
Miguel Steele is cold, man. He really is. I saw him up. Let me tell you this. So Diddy, at the Diddy trial, Diddy had a few times where he was really looking rejected, you know, because of the testimony. And when Brian Steele went up there to cross-examine, Diddy stood up in his chair. You can see, he's like, okay, I got some good representation here. You know what I'm saying? Diddy was kind of like, you know, shaking his head with Brian Steele. Anytime his lawyers would do something, but Diddy like, yeah. And Diddy was looking at the jurors, right? And when the jurors shaking his head, when the jurors was agreeing with Diddy, like, you know, like shaking his head. And then the judge shut that down. Like, look, your client can't keep looking at the jury like that, right? I knew the jury wasn't buying this. I knew they were not. And because Diddy was like, yeah, you know, and Brian Steele would get reactions out of the jury. That man is cold. I don't know who's better, him or Jose Baez. That guy is cold, man. To create doubt, he's cold. And also what he's very good at is ripping the audience, the person on the stand apart, discrediting the witness. He's very good at that. He's very good at it. That man is worth the money, man. He is cold. He's a nice guy. He'll talk to you. Like a friend of mine, she was like, hey, Brian, can I talk to you for a minute? He was talking to her. Like, this and that. Very friendly guy. But he's about his business, though. Yeah, he's cold, man. He is. Very crafty, too.
What did you expect him to do? To the extent they at some point got the address for this guy, was there ever any shootings at the address? No. Did anybody ever show up at the address and harass Little Tim? No. Did anybody ever take any type of shot at Little Tim? No. So what does the fact that Durk is following Little Tim's bond and the status of his criminal case have to do with anything? Isn't that just you building a narrative as opposed to you showing evidence that makes this guy guilty of murder for hire? There was also an interesting set of voice notes. It's not clear where it was sent or how it was sent, but the feds have these voice notes. It's Lil Durk's voice. It's after the killing of Mr. Robinson, and in it, it says something like, something, called Durk about, whatever. For one, you ain't done shit. Your homie Quando can die. We can set up a boxing match for $20 to $30 million. Now, I think that's gone over the heads of everybody in that courtroom because the people are suggesting that that was somehow a beef or an invitation from Durk saying, hey, Quando, I'm still mad at you, and if you want, we can set up a boxing match for $20 to $30 million. That's how it's been played out in the court record, but that makes no sense because he's saying your homie Quando can die. He's obviously talking about someone else. He's not talking about setting up a boxing match with Quando. Then we got to the text messages shortly after the murder, a couple of months, I think 4 months after. There's a group chat and there's conversations about Jam, ready to snitch, clear as day. That was allegedly a text message sent by Durk on the group chat. Jam, ready to snitch, clear as day. And then later Durk is in that message saying, as long as we don't break, we're good. Actually, he said as long as we don't break, he can tell them whatever. Now, on the stuff about Jam, the way Steele dealt with it on Cross is he
OTF Jam. He was trying to do some damage today. Let me see something. Let me see. Start a poll. Let's see, start a poll. Let's add another option, hung jury. All right, we got a little poll going.
kind of left a lot of it open and seeming to set it up for the Jam Cross. And then he basically said, hey, detective, did you know anything about something about Jam and his son and what school he went to and what soccer team he was on? And the text was like, nah, I don't know anything about that. And the same kind of went in this particular cross-examination where Steele was setting it up for stuff that's to come in the trial. Like, hey, did you ever find out anything about this other tour that Lil Durk was going to go on a tour right around the time of the killing of Mr. Robinson, and the tour was canceled? Did you hear anything about that? Do you know who was in charge of canceling the tour? And one of the reasons why it's our policy is we can't always get our hands on recording equipment. Somebody might call you and you need to take it down and you might not be able to set it all up. And Steele's like, but these were scheduled interviews. You met with him all these times over so many weeks. And the guy's like, oh yeah, well, I was just talking about generally. Each situation is different. It depends on what you're looking for. And Steele's like, how about the truth? If you're looking for the truth, is it good to have a recording of every one of the interviews that you can schedule ahead of time? I think the final part about the cross that I found interesting was setting up the link between Von and Vonnie and establishing that Von and Vonnie treated each other like family. They called each other cuz. Vonnie was in charge of Von's finances. Vonnie was Von's personal assistant. When Von died, Durk gave Vonnie a job, and then Vonnie was access to Durk's finances. Vonnie would book planes and use Durk's credit card and pay that credit card, and Durk would never know about those particular details of what was going on. Vonnie had the freedom to do that. I suspect what you're going to see happen is Jam will take the stand, Vonnie will take the stand, the crosses will come out, more evidence, more testimony will come out, and then this agent and other agents will probably be recalled to the stand to then ask them
further questions about their sort of conclusions and opinions in light of the full body of evidence surrounding Jam and Vonnie. That's halfway through day 3. That's a really long video. If you watch till the end, shout out to you. We will cover the rest of day 3 in the afternoon.
Lil Durk, day 3, trial update, what happened in the morning. First off, recording outside of the courthouse in Los Angeles in a suit is crazy. It is so hot. Just walking down the street to my hotel, I'm sweating balls. Shout out to Ross, keep doing your thing. Here's what happened on day 3. So we're halfway through the morning, we're on lunch break right now, and the detective, FBI special agent, continued his testimony from yesterday. He's kind of interesting if you ask me. One, he's African American, he's got tightly braided cornrows. He's testifying in this hip-hop murder case where the defendants are all African-American, the jurors are all white, the judge is white. I guess there's some Hispanic jurors, and the entire audience is African-American. When he reads the text messages into evidence, oftentimes there's the use of the N-word there a lot, and he never says the N-word. He always replaces it with dude or folks, and there's always like a little murmur and a thought and some opinions amongst the crowd about that. In general, what's really interesting about him, and the judge kind of cautioned the prosecution about him, that he's giving a lot of opinions and he's giving a lot of his take on what these text messages mean. And to the extent the prosecution wants him to act like some type of opinion expert, fine. But guess what? On cross, we're going to let the defense go deep into his opinions and why he thinks the way he thinks. And that's exactly what happened.
Hold on 1 second. Endo catch, we don't need that right now. Let me see what you guys talking about. Let me touch, man. You said, why do those dudes still do this hood shit after making millions? Because you can make a lot of money, but that's not going to take your mentality away. Money heightens who you already are. If you're a good person, you're going to be a good person with money. If you're an asshole, you're going to be an asshole with money. If you're a killer, you're going to be even more. You're going to have a lot of resources to be a better killer. That's it. You can't. You ever heard you can't take the hood out of somebody? You just can't. What's up, Raymond? You just can't take the hood out of people, man. That's it. Yeah, it gives you a sense of entitlement, all types of stuff, man. That's the only way I could all right, let's see what this DoorDash person is saying. All right, cool. You just can't take it out of people, man. You just can't.
What was crazy is after that.
You see, is he still alive?
But he ain't.
No, I know he wasn't still alive.
We'll see.
Is he really? No, he's done.
You're unmuted. Just try to talk.
Oh,
You should be either on push to talk, or you should be able to
He's
just
still alive. Okay, let's see.
talk on voice activity.
All right.
Did he leave the court? Or did
Yeah, I think he just messaged me, so I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay.
All right, because he just messaged me.
Now, I know some people are going to say Trenches News doesn't like Durk, this and third. Obviously, we're trying to be balanced. You know,
We obviously had we had
Yo, Trenches, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear y'all, but it's something wrong with the audio or something. Like it's low.
Oh, it's low.
Are you on your phone?
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
I'll put it on speaker.
It is speaker, right? Yeah, I'm on speaker.
All right.
It ain't speaker.
Does it sound better or no?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Just go ahead. I'll put my ear to the phone.
Okay, yeah, no. I wanted to give you the floor because again, I've been watching your videos over the last week and really trying to, cross my T's, dot my I's, figure out everything with this case. I'm doing a lot of research with it. What I found out is that you were pretty much mostly right with everything you damn said, okay? I wanted to give you the floor as we're at the day, I think one of the most important days, because not only were you right with this, OTF Jam has taken the stand. You kind of predicted the defense strategy, right? I believe you said Bonnie did it, right? And looked like that's the strategy. What is your approach to this entire case when months ago, when there were a lot of people, and I ain't gonna lie, you came on this same stream a year ago, and I felt like when you were talking, it's not that I said you were capping, but I'm like, man, I think he might be like guessing on certain stuff. It turns out you were right on most things. So I just want to give you the floor to kind of like address all of that and really even pop your shit. Go ahead.
Oh, first of all, hey, I was waiting on you to say that, Ack. Shout out to Ack, man. Hey, when I be talking about Apple Vodka too, I'm not talking about academics. That's another guy. Hey, but look though, first of all, I was BD, so you gotta take that into consideration. Got connections with these guys. I know these guys, all of them, most of them, But- and just knowing them, even though the duck trial or whatever, if a person told you they really love you, they probably not want to commit no crime or around you or none of that, but they still love you. They see me on YouTube doing me, and they just help me out, give me assistance, man. Whatever I ask for and call, who is that? They gonna tell me.
So are you sourcing most of this info from like this is what the streets is saying pretty much because
No. These motherfuckers who are around. Ain't no streets. These people are around. Soon when Jam got locked up, hey, his cousin say Jam tried to put a gun on him when the U.S. Marshal snatched him. You hear me? I told y'all that I had broke that.
Okay, break that down because some of these stories I think people, we're at this point like, today's a sad day for a lot of people who are Durk fans. And they're saddened because they're like,
just to let you know, the person that's talking, he has a YouTube page called Trenches TV. And he broke all this stuff down before these people got locked up. And he's actually from Chicago. And he's a reporter. He's like a hood, I call him the hood reporter. He already predicted that Durk was going down. As soon as Durk got locked up, he already said who was snitching and everything. It's like he predicted everything. He said Jam is snitching. He said this person's snitching. This person is cooperating for the feds. He broke all this stuff down before we knew it. And he has a page called Trenches TV, and he wears a ski mask in his videos. I guess he don't want people to see his face. But yeah, he broke all this stuff down. I watch him, Trenches TV.
The whole time. He was in jail with Boona. The whole time. Him and Boona was locked up together. And Boona, he told Boona over the phone, that conversation, they was talking about these guys so stupid. They talking about a damn murder for hire. Jam ain't get paid over the phone, and dude them scared. If you look at that picture online crime, this how I really knew it was Jam. When they told me it was Jam, I had to know if it was him myself. Go online crime or type in Lil Durk line crime, and you gonna see the mug shot. And you at the gas station. I know Jam. I knew Jam before them.
Okay. So I want to slow it down a bit. You're so advanced in this case, and in everything with like what's really going on. I got it. Like a lot of people who probably watched today. Like we've had a lot of people who are interested. They probably haven't kept up with this. Okay, so when you say that he's,
you said your question was, is this for old stuff? Yeah. This was retaliation for King Von's murder. It was a rapper out of Chicago. His name is King Von. He passed away. And they tried to hit up Quando Rondo and shot Quando Rondo's cousin. And outside the Beverly Center in Los Angeles. You remember that shooting outside the Beverly Center in Los Angeles? That's what this is for. And this was retaliate. They said it's a retaliatory attack. So yeah, this has just been like, this has been going on even before they all became famous. No. Excuse me, no. This shooting was relating to King Von dying, but It just they like Dirk is trying to say he didn't have no involvement. That's what he's trying to say. Even though these people were under Dirk. You see what I'm saying?
Dirk fucked up by, again, we're
in hypothetical land because there's a lot of people who believe that Dirk is innocent of all these things. But let's say if he did do this, do you think Dirk fucked up by not paying the shooter? Because
Oh yeah, you gotta feed the killers, man. If you into the murder game, if you don't feed the killers, the shit, they gonna turn on you. That's just plain and simple. If you don't feed nobody after they done kill somebody, they gonna turn on you. But Jam did ask for a lawyer. His people said that Jam bagged them for a lawyer, and Dirk now was laughing and shit. So they left him no choice.
Dirk was laughing.
Yeah, they say Dirk was laughing when they got back to Jam. They said he was playing laughing. I said this shit before the audio even came out. Like they said, Jam was. I mean, they was laughing, bro. And Boona tried to tell Dirk, "You better pay him for your ass get thrown in a frying pan." You know, Dirk didn't listen to him.
Okay, so Dirk doesn't pay him. He's thinking, man, whatever. Why wouldn't Dirk pay him though? Because the guy kind of like understand today, and I'm pretty sure you're up to tune with everything he.
The reason why Dirk probably didn't want to get him a lawyer because he didn't want to be connected to him. That's why. He wanted him to take that on his own and get his own lawyer, get a public defender or something. No, he wanted a paid lawyer. He wanted a Brian Steele type of lawyer. You see what I'm saying? So and remember I said it? You can't have just one person getting all the money and everybody else ribs are touching. You can't do that. See, it gives that person a sense of power. Like, I got all the money and all of these people under me are my lieutenants. You're going to fall every time. You're going to fall every time. Everybody has to have equal amount of stake to lose here. Everybody has to have an equal amount to lose. Okay? You got to have an equal amount. That's Trench's TV right there. That's him right there. He always wear a mask. But he's the leader on this storyline. He is. He broke everything before it happened. He said it. He already said Jam was snitching. But you can't have like a staff, right? Well, I'm just saying that because you just said short staff. You talking about something medical, but you can't have people under you that you got all the money and you just give them here and there, whatever. You can't do that. You gotta give people life-changing money to where they can leave the hood. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let people eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be living in a mansion, everybody's still in Chicago. And they the killers and you let them do your bidding. No, you're going to jail. And that's why he's gonna get less time and he was the killer. I know y'all think, well, he was the killer. How is he getting less time? Because he's snitching. He taking the big dude down, the guy with the money. Okay? When OTF Jam sat down, he said, well, how many people was involved in there? He said, this and this person, including myself. He was the third shooter. You hear me? Outside the Beverly Center. He was the third shooter. OTF Jam. Woo! Lord have mercy. He said he the third shooter. Holy crap. Guys, this wasn't a case where he would take this to trial. He should have taken a deal because he got children. Dirk got children. Don't he want to see them grow up? Forget the streets, man. Who cares if somebody look at you as a snitch? You better take a deal. This is risky, but he do got good representation though. So I can't count him out yet. I can't.
Your sister, somebody important to you, you hear me?
No, stop.
Dirk got Indian.
Man,
Dirk
I'm dead
ain't fucking
fucking
your
serious,
mama.
man. Dirk taking him upstairs to the balcony and bent him over. You heard what Dirk said? I did something that's gonna piss him off. He ain't talking about killing her. He talking about shit. I waxed that ass like Mr. Miyagi, goddammit.
Wait, you think Dirk would have fucked his guy's big
Hell
mama?
yeah, nigga. You snitching and all out finna dog your baby mama, nigga. Hell yeah. Nigga, this the trenches we talking about. You hear me? Like, this what happens in the trenches, bro.
You see academics face. Look, he said he dogged his baby mother out. No wonder that dude on the stand was like him, and him. Okay? He was a part of the murder. He was a part of the murder, and I was the third shooter. Okay? He rapped about dogging his baby. What? And bending her over. These people are stupid. These people need to be in jail. These people are demonic, yo. Yeah, I'm gonna get your baby mother to get back at you. Come on, man. He destined for it, man. He better hope Steele and them get him off. Do y'all hear me? He better hope Steele and them can get him off, man. Like for real. Cause this ain't looking good.
Situation and
The AJ situation, right? Where they're like, well, you shouldn't have left them without a lawyer either. But maybe Durk was saying, well, if I send down a high-powered lawyer down there, people gonna know I really did pay these niggas, or I did want this guy killed. So he's trying to stay away by not directly paying for a lawyer. You don't think that's smart?
Hey, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. Whether you pay for a lawyer or a bond walk in that office and say this for my nephew, you gotta do that shit. I know a lot of people be looking at it like Lil Durk don't owe nobody nothing, and that's why he in jail.
Mm. Holy shit. So
you can't tangle with the killers, man. And then when you finally heal, you go about your business and the killers fuck. Nah. That's when you going to jail, bro. That's when you going to jail, bro. I just hate to tell you that. Dirk should have sent the lawyer soon. When hey, look, I told the people this and all the bloggers that's around YouTube. He lying. Hey, the Fed said one thing. They said, "Are you indicting individual A, which was Banks, which is Dirk?"
mm-hmm.
And the Fed said, "Not at this time." They didn't say no. They didn't say none of that. They said, "Not at this time." I knew they was coming. You hear me? And that's when Drew was supposed to go over there, take their ass over there, him and Brian Steele, and go over there and see what's going on. Y'all didn't let them build a fight car. Y'all was supposed to be nosy as hell over there in Chicago. But they didn't do it, bro. That's what make me mad at Drew. Like, bro, is you a rookie? Like, for real.
Yeah. But do you think that Drew Finley knows all the shit that Dirk been really into?
Man, it don't matter if you know. If you got common sense and you a fucking lawyer, you supposed to went over there digging. Soon when they said Individual Way had a podcast with $1 million worth of game, Drew was supposed to go visit. Drew was supposed to get his ass over there and start digging. That's why I be talking shit about Drew on everything, bro. Cause he filed for that, you know. And then another thing, I ain't got nothing against you or Vlad. I love y'all.
Yeah.
But rule of law and law school. You're not supposed to go and talk about the case. The man broke down on Vlad, his plan, his game plan on how he gonna get Lil Durk up out of there. And soon when he did, 2 days later, the Fed superseded him and added on stalking.
So I think he went on Vlad and he went on my platform. I think this was I think the plan. The plan was you gotta start giving some positive PR or a different spin because everyone was starting to think Durk is cooked. So you want the lawyer to kind of explain it in a way to say, hell nah, you're not cooked. Like the government lying. So you wanted to change the perception because, you got to still think about potential, jury selection. You're saying that fucked him up.
Hey, look, man. Hey, look, when you in court, bro, I don't give a fuck if you got a public defender. If you ever been to jail, the public defender gonna tell you, do not discuss your case on the deck or nowhere. These niggas gonna snitch on you. They gon' motherfucker build up a case on you. If you explain anything, your lawyer tell you this shit. Like anybody who paid for a lawyer, your lawyer gonna tell you don't discuss your case. So why the fuck did you discuss in Dirk case and your game plan and what the feds fucked up on? Like that was crazy. That was the craziest shit. I told Dirk after that, I say, Dirk, sever the case. Why are you not severing your case if they not saying that you was part of all this shit? Drew them still ain't severed the case until it was almost time to trial. Then that's when they severed the case. So I went on Vlad and said, Vonnie did it. You hear me? Vonnie did it, hoodie. So now they get the picture. Vonnie did it. Hey, look, and to all the people who talking about Dirk and snitch for that shit, wait till your ass get in that position and you gonna have your lawyers do the same shit. Hey, look, You got to look at Viney, Jam, and all them. They like dirty cops. You got to look at them like that.
Like dirty cops.
Hey, look, hold on. You got to look at Viney and Jam as like dirty cops, bro. They got down on Durk. All the people he took care of, even if he was involved with this shit, right? They got down on him. They left him no choice but to motherfucking, hey, you did, dog. Look, they said they did it. They did the shit.
Yeah.
He ain't snitching. That's common fucking sense, bro. People be tweaking with the snitching shit, bro. On everything. Durk he better tell motherfucker you want to get back to India, nigga. Shit.
Okay, so, and I've heard you say this, so I want to give you credit, but I've heard you say, but I want you to explain it. Why do you think that Drew Finland doing the interview was bad with the superseding indictment?
He just let them get ahead of him, bro. He let them play with him. The feds played with him. They was playing with him, man. They kept on throwing out lyrics, man. Them lyrics didn't mean shit. They was just playing with Drew, bro. They kept on throwing little shit out there so he could go and chase while they building a Vite car over here and doing some more shit, getting Durk phone in Atlanta, man. Like they wasn't paying attention, bro. They think Drew and them think they gonna win off a fucking tactic. Like somebody fucked up and that's how they gonna win. That's the only way Drew thought he was gonna come in here and beat the feds. It was gonna be attack. Somebody lied, somebody did this. Wish they did. Hold on. Wish they did lie to the grand jury. If you lie to the grand jury, you're not supposed to lie. So when Drew said that on a DJ Vlad, that's why the Fed superseded the indictment. Because they knew, oh damn, PW1, which is OTF Jam, he lied and said that was part of the song. He said this was the song. So they superseded it. Oh, we fucked up. Oh, let us supersede it by the time Durk go to court. And now he denied. You know what Durk got stuck on? Durk got stuck on the murder for hire from Chicago. This how cold the feds is. Hold on, Act. This how cold the feds is. They stuck him on no bond from the murder for hire in Chicago, right? And then they turn around and say, oh, no, we got to break this up. This can't be added to a Lil Pab shit. So they played him.
So basically you're saying that with the interviews, his lawyers fronted his move with calling the feds out for having an indictment that contained a lie. You're saying that he shouldn't have came on the podcast.
If he would have held that shit, they wouldn't have superseded nothing. He could have went to the man, hey, look, opening statements. Hey, somebody lied to the grand jury, man.
So you're saying he should have kept that as an ace in the hole, not going to podcast and give it out for free that the feds could fix their mistake the next day.
Hey, look, the rule of law. A public defender would tell you this shit. The worst one. The one that'll send your ass to jail because he don't want to try to fight for you. He gonna tell you, do not talk to nobody about your case.
That guy's on point. He's definitely on point. They made a lot of mistakes. And then, I don't know if it's true him messing with the dude's baby mother. It's bad, yo. It's bad. That guy want to bury him. He for sure does. Crazy business, man. Crazy work. Well, that is day 5. The act's still going. Let me see what else we got. Act is still going. Oh, let me look at the poll. Okay, we got for the people that did. Well, we only had 9 votes. I'm just gonna cancel it. Out of the 9 votes, we have 50% saying not guilty. All right, that's what's up. I'm just gonna end it. We ain't got enough people. We don't got enough people, but hey, that's good that y'all think. I mean, he got some hope for him, I guess. Let me go to Twitter.
jail's testimony, you can 100% say Durk Ass is gonna walk out of there. 100%. But everybody that's gonna come out and say something, I'm gonna tell you right now, they're gonna say it's bad because obviously he's testifying. So you want the recross. You want after Brian Steele and everybody do their thing so that they can basically destroy whatever the hell he said. But right now, I ain't gonna lie, Jammin there looking like a fucking monster, nigga, flat out. Bitch ass nigga, but a bitch ass nigga monster. That shit, man, that shit hurt my heart saying that shit. Cause nigga, you was poor as fuck. They put money on you, nigga, all of this shit. Bitch, you supposed to take a bullet, motherfucker. You ain't supposed to take the stand, nigga. The fuck is you talking about? But then it makes sense how dirty he was because y'all came from Chicago with the same shoes, same drawers, same socks. Completed the blitz, then the next day y'all left. So you done wore the same clothes for 3 days, ain't sold no drugs? Just came out here to shoot shit. Dirty motherfucker. But yeah, man, everybody gonna say it's all bad and shit, 100%. Everybody gonna come out and say because of the shit he said, because I think the feds, I can't prove it or nothing. The feds already want to before.
He was just saying it was very damning for him to get on the stand and point them out. I agree. Because the jury is looking at it like, what the hell, right? So that is bad, but you know, the case is just starting, so we'll see what happens. But I don't know, guys. See what happens tomorrow, I guess. See what happens tomorrow. You said, I thought the move for that hood-ish was to buy a prepaid in cash. Nah, they were using the dude Amex card, bro. This is crazy. It's crazy, bro. Using the Amex card, bro. Okay, you got to charge a murder. They charging murders, man, on the credit card, bro. And you don't just get a regular hoopty card. He had a BMW. He rented a BMW, man. This is crazy, bro. It's I don't know if it's something they smoking. They stupid. These people are stupid. These stupid criminals, bro. These criminals stupid, man. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see. I'm not counting him out yet because I know Brian Steele, but it don't look good. It don't look good at all. And I'm not even there. I'm not even there. Well, guys, that's it. You said it's the Molly. I don't know what it is. Something in the water. I don't. It ain't. Hope it ain't in the water. Somebody just said it's something in the Similac. I don't. These people, bro. And then Durk sent him a text saying, "Don't charge anything to the name. Don't charge anything." He sent him a text message, and then he sent him a text message saying something about he knew about it, and oh my God, yeah, BMW. You want to see how the trial plays out so far? It's not looking good. I know the defense hadn't put on their case yet, so yeah, it's not over. It's going to be a very long trial. So, like, I'm still giving Keefe D a shot, of all people, because Keefe going to take that stand tomorrow. Get ready for that. I might have to go live for that, guys. Keefe taking the stand tomorrow because the defense is putting on their case tomorrow. And Keefe already had an outburst in court today. He already had an outburst. So it's just going to be electric. Because you know Keefe D is subject to cross-examination. He's pretty much going to get on the stand and say he was lying about the Tupac thing. So. But Durk's situation is different. He got people telling on him, bro. His main hitter, you know what I'm saying, that he rapped about. Like, I got That's why I got OTF Jam riding with me. You see what I'm saying? I got OTF Jam riding with me. Jam, like, yeah. I got a shooter. And the shooter's testifying on you, man. Golly. We're definitely in a parallel universe. Man, oh man, Keefy D. Dang. Man, I don't know. They rap about what they talking about. I told you guys my theory on it is this drill rap, these guys were never meant to have longevity. You saw it in the Julio Fulio case. These people dying left and right or going to jail. It's never meant for them to have longevity. They want to use them real quick and then discard of them. That's why a lot of them have insurance policies on their name. So if they can't get you that way, they put you to jail for the rest of your life. It's never meant to sustain itself. They don't want these guys frequenting the same country clubs as these rich people. These people are dispendable. They're like, they look at them as like the lowest part of society. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, that's how they look at them. They're undesirables. They don't want to be living in Hollywood Hills around undesirables. It was never meant for them to. This was a project. This was a human experiment that happened. And it's that's what it is. Yeah, so they look at them like, you know, as the bottom of society. And this was a human, I'm telling you guys, this was an experiment that happened. Because if you look at the music that they rap about, it doesn't make any sense. They're literally rapping about murder. And the powers that be, they let this go on because they want a certain amount of people within society to kill themselves. They want you to self-destruct. But the problem is they got to stop it because it's actually affecting them now. So now they got to put a stop to it. So that's what they're doing. Within the next 10, 15 years, you're not going to have gangs anymore. They're going to eradicate it. And you see they're already doing it in Texas. So what's happening is a lot of people are leaving California and they going to places like Texas. Now you see Texas coming out with these draconian numbers. They're giving people draconian numbers just for weed possession because they want you locked away. Because once they get you in jail, they could kill you in there. They want you locked away. And a lot of you got to know this, especially if you got kids and stuff, you got to know this. They want you locked away. They don't want you around, man. And this was a situation where I believe this was an experiment to like get more people to kill themselves, man, or die off. And that's just one of my theories on it. Yeah, so that's just the way it is, bro. It's a situation where I wish people knew, like, because history repeats itself. History repeats itself, and we can even go back to the Tuskegee experiment. They've been experimenting on us. but we will not stick together for nothing. And we're being punished for it. I believe God punishing us for it. We will not come together, bro. We will not come together for nothing. I'll find that out when I go to the other side. Whenever God decides to call me back, that's the first question I'm gonna have. Are you punishing us? Because we won't come together. What is it? It has to be. But if you look, I had went back in history for a minute. When you look at the history of us in the United States, that was only a short blimp on the map as far as humanity history, because humanity history spans thousands of years. Our history in the United States, that's only a period on the timeline. But we were once on top in the timeline. We were in the history of this world, because you remember, humanity comes through us. Don't let nobody fool you. Humanity was created through us. Everybody else was birthed through us. The first human remains was found in the continent of Africa. That's where the first human remains were found at. And then humanity just expanded from there. And you might say to yourself, well, how did we get to the Americas? We either took the boat or we migrated here. Because remember, there was something called, before Pangea, the continents were connected. We either walked here or we either took a boat here, whatever the case is, but we migrated throughout the thousands of years. And we got here. We were already here. I mean, they keep talking about the transatlantic slave trade, but if you look at how the water is and how the water, how it's rough, those boats, we wouldn't be able to make it. They lying about that. We were already here. Now, did some people come over here from Africa to be slaves? Yes, they did. But the majority of our lineage is actually here. The majority of our lineage. Humanity was birthed from us. And at some point in the timeline, we lost our power at some point. And we're being cursed for it. That's what I believe. There was a lot of great dynasties before the United States. The United States is a young country compared to other countries around the world. There was even, let me just say this. It's a matter of record. Who took Europe out of the Dark Ages? We did. We literally took Europe out of the Dark Ages. They weren't even bathing properly before we came in. We took them out of the Dark Ages. We did. When this country was set up, as far as like the United States, when they were trying to get their independence from England, who you think helped them? We did. And I know people are saying, well, how did you help them? Because we weren't slaves. That's why. We came from Europe too. The father of Russian language was a black guy. Did you know that? He was mulatto, but he was black. His name was Alexander Pushkin. He was black. The way Russians speak now is because of him. He's the father of modern Russian language. Is Alexander Pushkin. But see, they want you to think like, oh, all our history is rap music and this. That's bullshit. That's not our history. It's just a short blimp on the map when it comes to the timeline. I honestly feel like we're being cursed, man. We're being cursed, bro. That's what I feel like. That's just my final thing on. That's how I feel. That's my theory. If we only knew if only we knew who we really were, yo, we would come together. We don't have to all get along. I'm not saying that, because then life would be, I don't know if it'll be boring. You said, I don't think people in London, England were baked. Well, you're talking about the Dark Ages. I'm talking about, yeah, they weren't, but excuse me, they were taught that. They were taught that from the Moors. Basic hygiene and stuff like that. That's a matter of public record. But eventually they did adopt, the hygiene. Because you remember when they came to the United States, you know how back in the day, they used to have flowers and they used to fan themselves and used to have flowers around? That's the cut down on the smell. That's why they used to do that. They used to have flowers around. They used to like fan themselves just to cut down on the smell. That's a matter of historical record. But my point is every humans evolve, right? Everybody knows this. Obviously, we're not doing that anymore. Humans evolve. But when you look at our history in the United States, it's only a short blimp on the timeline. We lost our way somehow. But regardless of the fact, you live your life how you want to live it. I'm not saying we all going to come together. I'm not saying life will be, I don't know. I think we need obstacles in life so it won't be boring. That's the only thing I could think of. But this rap music don't make sense till you do it. You know, the drill music and stuff like that, it does not make sense. But it also seemed like it evolved from our music from the 90s and it got worse. It was only going to get worse and worse and worse as the time go on. Because our music wasn't good either. All of it wasn't good. A lot of people say hip hop, the golden days of hip hop was in the 90s. I agree with that. But there was some bad hip hop there too. They were promoting drugs and stuff like that too. But this right here is just at an all-time low. You rapping about, okay, we're going to go kill. Let's go rap about it after we kill a person. And you got millions of dollars that people would be glad to trade places with you. And yet he's sitting right here now, possibly going to go away for the rest of his life. But my point is this. The record executives, they knew this. That's why they took out insurance policies on a lot of these guys. Because they knew this wasn't going to be sustainable. It's not. It wasn't going to be sustainable. These guys, they did their mission and they don't need them anymore. So this is their way of getting rid of them. Either you're gonna die prematurely, or you're gonna go away and you're gonna get draconian numbers. That's it. And it's been going on. The history repeats itself. That's what they were doing to guys in the 80s when I was coming up. They were giving them these numbers, but like I tell you, it's a choice. It's a choice to sell drugs, wasn't it? Now you might say, well, we didn't create the drugs, right? We didn't create them. We didn't bring the drugs in from other countries, Nicaragua and all these other places, right? In Cuba and not Cuba, Colombia and all these places. Right, we didn't, but we didn't have, it's a choice to sell it, isn't it? You have a choice to sell it and use it. It's a choice. Okay? It's just like the story in the Bible, biting the forbidden fruit. Are you going to bite the forbidden fruit or do you have a choice? We have choice in life. So if you want to be a statistic and do what they designed for it to happen, then it's up to you. They got jails for you. And now, I'm telling you right now, if you're a connoisseur of the cannabis, you might want to leave Texas. You might want to leave now, because a lot of people that smoke, they can't stop. This stuff that they smoking now is not the stuff that was back from the 80s. This is totally different. It even smells different. You can smell the chemicals in it, and it gives me a headache. That stuff is getting in your mind, man. I don't know. You know, back in the day when we smoked, the best thing we do, we'll get hungry, get tired, get hungry, wake up and eat everything in the refrigerator. Now, you want to go do a drilling. They call it drill music. You know what a drill is? When the bullet is going in you, they call it a drilling. They drilling a bullet in you. Whew. Oh, this is demonic. A drilling. I'm going out on a drilling. Craziness. How is he allegedly orchestrating a killing and he live in the Hollywood Hills, man? That's crazy. How are you going to do that and then use a BMW to do it, knowing that it got a tracking device on it? Why can't you use a hoopty? Why you got to use a BMW? They got to drive in luxury because they chilling with Lil Durk. Shit is, oh my God. Oh my God, man. You can't explain this. Guys, you can't explain it. There's certain things you just can't explain, man. You can't explain that. Oh my God. I wish I would, guys, get millions of dollars and I'm sitting in my house in the hills like, yeah, F my ops. You know what I'm saying? Let me go get some shooters. And then I'm sitting up there looking crazy. Lord have mercy. And then did you hear about the guy in the Bronx that's going around killing people? Did y'all hear that? He just randomly going around killing people, man. In the Bronx, they haven't caught him yet. He killed a person in the bodega. He shot somebody and killed another person. And he on the loose right now in the Bronx. Right now. So everybody on the lookout right now because he's out there. He just went in the store and just killed somebody. And he, listen, the person that owned the store, he would have gave him what he wanted. Because he drew his gun. He obviously coming in to steal stuff. And he just killed somebody. Golly. That's like a zombie, yo. It's like, That's why I just stay to myself, guys. I just stay in the house, yo. If I ain't got no business to do, I'm back in the house. That's it, yo. There's nothing wrong with staying in the house, man. I've been like that all my life. That's why I stayed out of trouble. I don't do cookouts. None of that. Nothing. No cookouts. No nothing. Craziness, man. But anyway, we'll see what happens tomorrow with Durk, man. We'll see what happens. Ugh, you said all you can think of is how crazy back shots smell back then. Woo! No, it was an acquired smell. They used to the smell, Miguel. That smell turned them on. Did you know some people in certain cultures, the funk actually is a turn on? They have good BO. They want to smell the BO. It's a turn on. Like, wow, he smells like a man. It's, you know, some people like that BO, man. Some people like it, man. Okay? So they ain't think nothing about the back shots. Probably smell like clay to them, man. It's like juices and berries. Whew. Lord. That's why they brought that. Oh, Lord. It was, man, good thing we evolved from that stuff. They had to use community sponge to wipe that. Ooh, Lord. Yeah, they being dominated by evil spirits or something. Like, good Lord. But you had to be used to it back then. Yeah, they did have a community sponge, Lashane. They did. Whew. Lord have mercy. You know, back during the, you know, back in the day, you remember Pompeii got lost, you know, because Mount Vesuvius blew up. Mount Vesuvius, right? And the people were frozen in time. And boy, they did a lot of stuff. Boy, they had a lot of paintings depicting a lot of stuff, man. You say you smell some stuff in my days. Yes, everybody don't put water to them every day. Okay? Everybody don't put water to them. Ladies, you got a man, you got to get him in that shower. You'll mess around and get your pH thrown off just because he ain't bathing. Now your pH thrown off. Trust me, I know. Your pH will get thrown all the way off. I know because I remember I had a ex one time. This is me and her when we start, you know, when you getting to know somebody, you just start talking, right? You know what she said to me? Because we used to work together. And one day she was just like sitting close to me and she was like this, like on the side of my face. I'm like, what are you doing? She said, wow, your ears are clean. I said, what? She said, she said, can I do something else? I said, what? She said, can I touch the back of your ears? I said, go ahead. She was like, and she sniffed it. She was like, holy shit, it smelled like soap. And I was like, I took a bath before I came to work. She said, I know. She said, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm glad you clean. She said, everybody don't wash their ass every day. She said, and you know what else she said to me? She said, don't get offended by this. You use a rag? I said, what? She said, to use a rag. I said, yeah. She said, no, I'm serious. I said, yeah, I do. And after that, man, she started like, she was like, cool. You know what I'm saying? She's like, I just need to check. She said, because some guys in here, their ears be dirty. I could see it. I said, nope. Man, get my ears, get down in there, everything. And she said, you actually smell like laundry. She said, I like that. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you used to messing with? She said, no, I just checked. She said, that's part of me getting to know you. I want to know if I need to get your ass to wash your ass. That's what she said. No, I wash my ass, baby. He said, I need to exfoliate. My face seen better days. Miguel off the hook. You need to exfoliate. But yeah, some people, the funk, it's a cultural thing. Which is, I'm not knocking nobody's culture. If you like the natural oily smell, that's cool. Since you can't see to where you wear glasses to heaven, I do too. And, you know, it heightens our other senses. Yeah, it's not good. To each his own. I'm not knocking nobody. To each his own, right? To each his own. To each his own. You said the BBL coach is kind of funky. Well, just because you got a BBL don't mean you got to be funky. You just get in that shower. You know? But I heard when it's healing, it does smell. Because they're healing. You know, they got cut open. You know, that stuff has to heal. And there is a smell while it's healing. But after that, it shouldn't be. You said if you eat clean and wash, you will not ever have an odor. I still got to get in that shower. I still do. To take care of handle my business. Because let me tell you something, what I learned about women. They not going to tell you, but women love when you smell good. That's just one less problem they have to deal with. Okay? Is if you smelling good, you wash and you bathe, that's one less problem a woman have to deal with you. And the thing is, what guys don't realize is you have to wash properly because it could throw her pH balance off. And another thing, this is how, let me tell you this, I'm not going to give all the secrets away, but this is one way how a woman know you cheating. If you guys get to know, you know, if you in a long-term relationship, right? And obviously maybe you guys are not using protection. And when you go out and go sleep with somebody else, you get their pheromones on you and their stuff on you. And you go back and sleep with your girl, her pH balance is immediately going to get thrown off. Because you introduce something foreign to her. It's automatically going to get thrown off. Now, she's going to, because the thing is, if you've been together a long time, right? She used to you, so her pH balance is fine. Immediately it gets thrown off or there's something happens, then they're gonna know. They're gonna be like, especially they could tell. A woman could tell because you're gonna. Let me just say this. Let's say if you with somebody, they don't have perfume on. You be like, well, the lady didn't have perfume on, and I took a shower. No, you still gonna have a smell on you. You still gonna have it. Women know this, bro. Women know this. And you know how I knew? When I was a kid, I used to listen to my mother and her homegirls talk when they used to have their henpecking party. You know how they be like, kids supposed to be seen and not heard? Well, that's how I was, but I was being nosy and listening. You said, I love cologne, love me some burrito. What is that? Is that smell good? I'm gonna have to look that up. Who is that by? That sound like it smell good, but that sound expensive too. But like I said, women, they like when you clean because that's one less thing they got to worry about. And another thing is with women, they know your patterns. They memorize your patterns. Because we're like creatures of habit. When you break your pattern, they're gonna be on guard. And it could be something small too. It could be they just know your patterns, yo. They do. Women they outsmart us. Women are they smarter than we are. They're human lie detectors. They know their man. And another thing is they mark their men too. Y'all don't even know y'all doing it. Y'all mark us. And you know how I know what y'all be doing? You said brand is Barreto. Hold up, let me see. Oh, wow. Parfum. Let me see. Let me see how much this costs. Yep, I knew it. Heaven, this is like $200 and some. I knew it. It gotta smell good. If it's the cost that much, it gotta smell good. I'm gonna have to check that out. That might be like a special occasion cologne for me. I like Issey Miyake, but this is like a niche cologne. What she just told me, that's a niche. It's different from commercial cologne. It's niche. It's a house cologne. Did I get that right, Heaven? It's a niche cologne. It's a totally different situation. Everybody not gonna smell like that. But yeah, women, man, they know. You guys, you can just say one thing, question us, and we get it wrong. Like, okay, y'all, he's doing something. You like Initio too? Yeah, people like you smell good and you clean. Oh man, you can roll. Somebody got to like you. But the way it is out here now, like, it's rough out here. And every woman comes with I call it perks. What my boy call it? He said every woman comes with no, what did he say? He said every woman comes with what you call what do you call that when you buy a car, you get all the options. What is it called? What are the add-ons called? You said perfume, Marley. 2 is awesome. Options. He said every woman, they got different options with them. Some know how to cook. Some is good with taxes. They can show you tricks on your taxes. Some good with business. He said they can upgrade you depending on what they got. He said that's why you need to be cool. Get you a nice one and that's it. That's how he say it. Just get you one and that's it. We too old to be gambling with 3 and 4. He said that's for people that want to lose their mind. You said, let me see. He said, I'm the mix of Kush and frankincense. Damn, you going back to the biblical time, right? Some frankincense. Some Kush and frankincense. You like the oils. I can't really do the oils because I break out. Yeah, y'all got certain perks with you. You got certain perks. You know? And you can upgrade men just with your perks. You know? It makes a man want to get out there and hustle harder. A woman could upgrade a man like that. They can. That's why it's just good to have one these days, because you find you a good one, better keep her. Because it's crazy out here. It's crazy, guys. Crazy. Grass ain't always green on the other side. It's not always greener. People think so, but it's not. It's hard to find, especially you have a connection with somebody. If you have a connection, just keep that connection. Trust me. Because apparently, Trump, they've been carrying him all day, Trump has been getting roasted since yesterday. You know why? He took to it. He didn't take it well when he heard Dolly passed away. And you know what he did? He said, well, yeah, he thought about it on the fly. When he was sitting there talking about it, he said, you know what? I'm going to lower the flags, have staff. We're like, what? Like, did you used to date her, bro? Like, what? Don't get me wrong. She's a legend. You know what I'm saying? But I think he knew. I think he really knew her. The way he was at, he didn't seem happy at all when he was talking about it. It's like he was reminiscing. That's what it seemed like. He was reminiscing because they're the same age. It's like he was reminiscing, He was like, what a very fine friend. Something he was saying. Because old people, they don't say this my girl or whatever. This is my friend. That's how they say it. He lowered them flags, have staff for. He's sure they were carrying him in the comment section. They said, bro, you worried about the wrong things. They said, you better lower that gas. They said, you lowering flags, bro? I thought it was funny. They were carrying him something tough, man, for the past 2 days. And not only did he lowered the flags for the rest of the week. He lowered the flag for the rest of the week, dog. I don't know if he messed with her or not, but shout out to him, man. I don't know why people said, man, he should have lowered the gas, bro. This other stuff, he worried about the wrong things. Shout out, man. But shout out to her, man, Dolly Parton. She had that song, I Will Always Love You. Then Whitney Houston did her rendition in The Bodyguard, and which made Dolly about $10 million in royalty payments. And she took that money and donated to women of color. She donated, and she did it in Whitney's name as a tribute to Whitney Houston. She did that. She knew Whitney anyway. They knew each other. You know what I'm saying? But she did do that. Come on, man. Dolly Parton was our childhood, yo. Come on, man. Give it up to Dolly Parton, man. Dolly. That's like shit, man, I was growing up, man. She was the business, yo. Dolly Parton. I'm not sure if she was in We Are the World with Michael Jackson. Was she? I believe she was. Yeah, they say he need to lower that gas, Heaven. He's sitting up there lowering the state. It was like, why is he doing that? Like, did he know her? Did he know her? Because it was the way he said it. It was like he was reflecting for a minute. Like he was, you know how he sit at his desk? He was just like, yeah, Dolly passed. And he kind of looked off. And I'm looking at him like this, like, bro, were y'all messing with each other at one point? Because he 80 years old. She passed at 80. But shout out to Dolly, man. She's a legend, though. She died a legend. She's a legend. Dolly Parton. Yeah, she's straight a legend. Straight up. But you know, she lived a full life. I mean, she was 80 years old. So. But it's just that some of these, like, people that's passing away, it just reminds me of my childhood. You know, so. Man, that's the cycle of life, though, man. It's a continuous thing. Somebody passed, somebody's born. But may her memory lives on, man. She's a legend. I have to say it. Dolly Parton. She didn't have any kids either. I wonder who's going to get her estate. Oh yeah, Hayden Panettiere died as well. You know she used to date Vladimir Klitschko, Heaven. She has a daughter with Vladimir Klitschko, the boxer. Yep. Oh, she did, right? Dolly had a vast fortune, man. I wonder who getting it. Dolly. And then she, you know, her husband had passed away, and I remember she said that she was still trying to get over that. So. But shout out to her, man. Yeah. It's the way it is, man. She's one of 12 children. She literally has 100 nieces and nephews. Okay, they'll probably get it. Okay, I didn't know that. 100 nieces and nephews. Okay. Well, she got a big family to give it to somebody. I don't know why she kind of like reminded me of like a country version of Marilyn Monroe. That you know, I always think of Marilyn Monroe and her as well. She like reminded me of her somehow. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I know why, but no, she doesn't have kids, Heaven. She left 450 to 650 million in her estates. Yeah, her family is gonna get it. Whoever she got it left it to. Yeah, she did well in life, man. Dolly. You know, she's a very good businesswoman too, because what happened was Elvis wanted to use her song, you know, I'll Always Love You, you know, that Whitney used. Elvis wanted to use it, but he wanted the royalties. And she said no. She had to regrettably say no. She didn't want to say no to him, but she didn't want to lose her royalties, you know, her masters. But check this out. When he was divorcing Priscilla Presley, in the courtroom, he started singing it. He started singing I'll Always Love You. when they were getting divorced in court. Elvis sung that to Priscilla. And, you know, fast forward, Whitney Houston used it in The Bodyguard. You said Miley Cyrus must be feeling it. Yeah, she love her some Dolly. Yeah, straight legend, man. Trump got lowered the flags for her, man. That's legendary stat. He lowered the flags. You said the bulk of it is going to charity. I could see that. She's in the National Archives. She completed everything. She's in the Hall of Fame, the National Archives. She's in the public records forever. Yeah, man. She did it. Man, our stars hit different, didn't they? Back in the day. Even the stars hit different, yo. Nowadays, these young people, they got Lil Durk as a star. That's crazy. Come on, man. We had Michael Jackson. We had Dolly. You know what I'm saying? Some people like Elvis. I wasn't around when Elvis. I mean, I was young when he passed away. But I didn't live during the Elvis time. But I was very young when he passed. But our stars hit different back then. Oh, I didn't know that's her godmother. I didn't know that, Heaven. Miley Cyrus, I didn't know that. Man, imagine, I don't know like how she wanted her funeral to be, but I can see it's gonna be some big pomp and circumstance with her funeral. It's probably gonna be. Unless she wanted a private ceremony, I'm not sure. But if not, you know it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big, man. You said in the Migo. It's gonna be big. Her thing gonna be big if she allow it. I don't know the way Trump acting. He might show up to it. Now, did he used to talk to her, Heaven? Why is he looking so upset? Oh man. I still remember, Heaven, this before your time, but when I was coming up, some of the women that, you know, obviously Dolly was like, you know, we used to call them heartthrobs. She was like, you know, like the guys like Vanity Apollonia was another one. I used to like Halle Berry too. Vanity Apollonia. And Farrah Fawcett, remember she had the famous poster? Farrah Fawcett. I used to like Bernadette Stannis from Good Times, Thelma. You know, yo, believe it or not, you know who else I used to like? I used to like Tootie from Facts of Life. And I met her too. Kim Fields, I met her. Met her. And I remember it was a book signing. We went to her book signing. I did not get her book signed. My boy was like, yo, this is your opportunity. You should try to talk to her. Dude, I got cold feet. As soon as I had to have been about 17 at the time, maybe 16. Actually, I was like 15. I was like 15, 16 at the time. And when he went up there to get the book signed and I was with him, she said, hello. I said, hi. And that's it. That's all I said, yo. Her name is Kim Fields. She used to be on The Facts of Life. Child star. You said, damn, Miley became a billionaire. You said, is this the guy? His channel name is called Raymond86. He said he's seen Tupac and Rick James. It's a hell of a testimony. I want to know what Max think about it. Raymond86? That ain't you, Raymond, is it? You said you don't know those. Yeah, that's why I said, Heaven, that was before your time. This is like the 80s, you know what I'm saying? Farrah Fawcett. Love me some Bernadette Stannis from Good Times. Raymond, you know who that is. Bernadette Stannis. Thelma. And I love me some Penny too. That's Janet Jackson. Yep. Love me some Janet Jackson. And believe it or not, I had a thing for Diana Ross back in the day. Look, me as a little kid, yo, I like Diana Ross. She don't remember that. You don't either, Chantel. Y'all don't remember these people. You know what I'm saying? This is back in the day. Look, here I am. Look, I'm you know, this is back in the day, you know. Y'all don't know nothing about that. It's back in the day. You said I know Tootie. Oh, yeah, from Living Single. Right, she wasn't. You're right about that. Damn, okay, yeah, she was in that. You're right. And I met, what's her name? She used to go to my sister's school. Well, you know, I went to an all-male Catholic school in high school. Our sister's school, that's where Rudy went. You know, Rudy Huxtable. I remember she used to come to I remember because I thought I was much older than she was, and I wasn't. Because she came to our high school party. We were known for throwing parties, and she was there. We were messing with her too, calling her Rudy Huxtable, and she didn't like it. And you know, Lauryn Hill, I knew her as well, like knew of her. But yeah, Rudy, I didn't realize I wasn't that much older than she was. I thought I was, but guess not. Oh, damn, Raymond, you what? You said Lola Falana. Man, Raymond, you just look. You see, you ain't think I knew who that was, huh? You tried to hit me with one. I know who Lola Falana is. She was what people like, the guys like back in the day. Lola Falana. You about to go to bed? You got to work in there. I'm about to get off myself, actually. Lola Falana. Damn, you hit me with one, Raymond. Damn. Lola Falana. But guys, I guess I'm gonna get out of here. Come back tomorrow to see what's happening with Durk and them. I'll be back. Thank you for joining, as always. We'll do a panel tomorrow if you guys. Well, hold on. We usually do our panels on Friday, right? It's Wednesday. We'll do a panel on Friday. We'll have a panel, a weekend panel. a week's end panel. We'll do that Friday. All right, guys. I will catch you guys on the next one, and thank you for joining.